Good morning, Raptor freaks. Lexi Yachts here, and it's Thursday, and the Raptors played in Sacramento last night, and they lost. But they played 3 out of 4 quarters really well. It's just in the fourth quarter things fell apart on the cart, and well, they lost. This is the first game where this kind of has happened this season. I mean, Cleveland, we weren't really involved in the game at all. It was kind of a blowout from the start. Minnesota was a wide margin, but we were actually playing really well with them, even though with the wide margin. Young teams are going to do this. They're going to fall apart to veteran teams late in the game when things change with energy. And that's really kind of what happened last night. The Kings came out in the fourth quarter with a renewed kind of energy and physicality that the Raptors need to handle. In some ways, this is part of the reason why old LeBron and Kawhi and different people kind of take coast in the beginning of the game, and then they kind of turn it on later. While we're going out and we're kind of turning it on right away and going crazy with energy and being really effective. In fact, the first 3 quarters were beautiful. It's so amazing how connected and clockwork our offense is. There was some stuff that's just like, just really pleasant to watch. And, the stuff that happened in the fourth quarter is kind of like, you get jarred a little bit, and then all of a sudden you're kind of thrown off on your rebounding, your defense, and different things. And all of a sudden the Kings are just scoring at will. You're not able to hold them. And then in some ways, because you're rattled about that, then your offense is kind of not doing as well on the other end for your team. But either way, I'm not mad at the game last night. I think that our team is developing really well. And the fact that we can get away with playing 3 rookie lineups and we're not having a severe drop off in production or quality of play is absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, I'm choosing to see the positive side of things for last night. In some ways, wins and losses don't matter to me. In some ways, not necessarily like doing everything perfect right now doesn't matter to me. It's mostly perfect. And, as more guys come back with health, it'll add into the pot of being even better. Now, we play on Saturday and Sunday this weekend in LA, and Clippers on Saturday, and then Lakers on Sunday. And it's kind of interesting. The Kings will play the Clippers tomorrow night, and we'll play the Clippers on a second night of a back-to-back with them. So we do have a little bit of an advantage with that, and it'll be interesting to see how how the Kings do with the Clippers on Friday, and then we'll see them on Saturday, and then of course the Lakers, Bron and Bronny on Sunday, and we'll be done with the Lakers for the year, just like we're done with Denver and Sacramento already. It's really weird playing these Western teams 2 games so early in the season. Usually they spread these games out like pretty far. Like there may be one Western Conference game against that team now, and then like we won't play them again until April or March. But yeah, it's weird. It's really weird to get these series over already. And I think that it's worked out in some ways that we've had to play. Denver was struggling, even though we didn't beat them in either game. Denver was struggling. So I think it actually worked out in our favor, this kind of schedule with getting the Nuggets twice so early. So, there's different ways we got to look at things and kind of like go with the flow of the schedule. And who knows, maybe there will be some surprise wins still here and there as we go. We'll have to see. It's looking really nice for next Tuesday, actually. They're going to come back on this road trip. They'll play the 2 games in LA. And then on Tuesday, we'll be in Milwaukee. And Milwaukee is struggling so bad right now. They're like us. They only have a few wins. I think they only have 1 win, actually. So this is good stuff. I mean, this is really good stuff. I should go look at that real quick. Yeah, I was wondering about like why Milwaukee has not won in forever. And there's a lot of problems with Giannis right now, and there's injuries and different things like that. Yeah, Milwaukee's below us. They only have 1 win. Them and the Sixers only have 1 win. So who would have thought it? The way our team is playing, we're actually above the Sixers and the Bucks right now. Yeah, you got to wonder if Doc Rivers is in the hot seat or Butthole Face. He might be in the hot seat in Philadelphia a bit to a degree right now, which is pretty cool in some ways. Yeah, so interesting things. Of course, the Sixers went to the Clippers last night, and Paul George got booed, and he's upset that the fans booed him back in LA. He doesn't understand it. Oh, it's so funny how the ego of some NBA players just does not allow them to understand reality. Like, you've been a waste of time to them. That's why they booed you, Paul. You don't understand why they booed you? They're like, "Oh, why would they boo me?" Well, you also said something about them being the B team in LA when you left on your podcast. So I totally get why the Clippers fans booed the hell out of you last night on your return with the Sixers to play the Clippers. Of course, they got their ass beat too, and the Clippers won. So really, really interesting stuff there with that. All right, let me see what's going on in the chat. Kaz is here. Good to see Kaz, our trucker friend who's on the road. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Freak crew. Good morning to you, Kaz on the road. Always happy to see you in the chat. And I hope you're out there driving safe today. And only good things are happening for you, my friend. All right, how about that? Fiercely saying, good morning, fam. Again, 8 versus 5. Then I sense the level of focus and intensity dropped in the fourth quarter. Yeah, it's kind of what I was trying to describe just now. You know what it is? Um, I all right, I'm gonna be fair about Malloy and Sago and CJ Washington. Some of them were good. Like Ed Malloy was actually pretty fair last night. I watched him really, really closely. He's somebody I've gotten really used to, like watching real closely when he's reffing, because he is really, really slick. And in some ways, maybe he did do some stuff on the down low, but I found that his calls were pretty down the middle. Sago was a little bit too aggressive with some of the calls that she was doing, and she was definitely hurting the Raptors at times. And CJ Washington was the worst one of the three of them. CJ Washington was bailing out the Kings at times with like late whistles when they saw that they were going to lose the possession. There was actually one play that was so ridiculous and crazy where Jakob got a steal. And instead of letting us just cleanly get the steal, they called a foul on Mobo off the play. And that was so manufactured and bullshit. In some ways, they saw the momentum of Jakob getting that steal and us going into transition, and they immediately killed it. I never. The reason why that play looks so awkward is because it's not a normal NBA play that people should be calling, and that's why Jakob was kind of mystified when he actually got a clean steal. What the hell happened? It was really that they just made up some BS on Jonathan and called a foul and kept the ball on the whatchamacallit, on the Kings side of the things, on their possession. And there were a couple calls like that were weird bailout calls that weren't exactly like normal, and they looked out of place, and they mostly emanated from CJ Washington. Yeah, he was the worst of the three of them. I'm not going to say this was 8 versus 5, because the Raptors, if they were able to play really like sound, good, top quality basketball like they did in the first 3 quarters, they could have won this game last night. But the refs weren't helpful. But we got to also understand they're at home, so they're going to get home cooking with the ref calls to an extent, and that crowd really feeds the Kings. And the other thing about it is, I don't think that our young rookies had been in a away situation exactly like last night with the building for the loudest, rowdiest crowds, and they really give energy to the Kings. And that's tough, especially on the road, all the way on the other coast. And you're hearing the crowd really giving energy to DeMar DeRozan and Domatis and De'Aaron. That's a big factor. That's a big factor. And one of the young rookies' lessons is, how do you deal with a very, very lively arena that is like that? And they got their first taste of that. In some ways, some of them really shined and rose to the occasion. Once again, we have rookies that don't look like rookies. They act like they've been in this league for a couple years already because of the excellence and the really the kind of the ability to look like really capable pros without having, like Shed and Mobo in particular. Now, Battle last night looked like a little bit like a rookie last night. He was making rookie mistakes last night. But Shed and Mobo, these guys are doing the right moves and the right things all the time. Honestly, the two of them. Mobo, I have more and more appreciation for. Like last night, I realized that Jonathan Mobo has one of the highest basketball IQs on our team. If it's not basketball IQ, it's hustle. he just really understands where to be just to try and get things going for the Raptors in all kinds of different ways. He's really interesting about how he tries to come around and get steals after players rebound it. If the Kings rebound the ball and they bring it down, he's kind of sneaking around them and trying to put his hand up and get a steal right after they rebound. This all good stuff. And if the ball's coming off the backboard, he's trying to get at least a finger or a hand on it to tap it. There was one moment where he just followed through and he stole the ball from them just by like strong arming one of the Kings and just pushing his hand up and boom, all of a sudden it was loose again and we got the ball back. That's fantastic. Yeah, I don't know if I could say 8 versus 5. I think it's more the intensity of the crowd helped pick up the intensity of the Kings. And in some ways, our young Raptors had to learn a new environment of energy and frenetic kind of everything going against them kind of stuff. And what it takes to kind of like go through that and still be excellent and do well. There were a lot of mistakes in the fourth quarter, turnovers and missed shots. We went cold. And yeah, the Kings were rolling. The Kings were rolling at that point. So I can't say that for sure. Cowboys saying, good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. The Raptors are in a win-win situation. Can't wait to see this team healthy. Let's go. Yeah, I really do look at it this year as like that. That we win, that we win. That's just how it is. And if we're not winning, well, there's some things that can be gained from that also, apparently with the win percentage and stuff. One of the weird things that's happening in this league this year is the Eastern Conference has way more losses than the West. There's like not very many winning teams in the Eastern Conference right now. And people are saying weird stuff about it, but this is the thing. If it's going to be like this with the Eastern Conference this year, where it's going to be weak, teams have to get in the play-in. Teams have to get into the playoffs. And, 10 teams are going to make it out of the 15. So it doesn't matter if 8 of or 9 of the Eastern Conference teams are sub 500. Somebody's going to get in there. So that's a crazy thing. Even if the Raptors win like they're winning right now, they may still have a chance around the end of the year to make a late season push to make the playoffs still, because the Eastern Conference is substandard overall right now. It's almost like you can say the Cavs, Boston, and a couple of other teams are like really good, and then like that's it. There's like everybody else is very middling and taking L's and not really playing consistent ball. Teams like Miami, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, these teams are not exactly right now. And they're catching L's when people thought they would be top teams and they would be catching W's instead. So it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Cowboys saying Grady is going to win the most improved player this year, hands down. What a gem. Yeah, I mean, the only way we win anything is if we have to win a certain amount. And, in some ways, we need to get the spotlight. Grady would probably deserve it in some ways. But we'll have to see how it is over the whole entire year. In fact, we had Grady's first inconsistent game of production last night. He really didn't have the same level of game that he's been having recently. So that's something that's going to happen with the jump shooter. He can't just be on every single night. And last night was kind of an off game for Grady. I don't want to use Davion's nickname for that. I don't want to use that for him. Yeah. Kareem saying if we had a full squad, we would be humiliating a lot of NBA teams. We are 2 games out of third place in the conference. The East is a complete crap. Yeah. And we could make a giant leap after this gauntlet. Yeah, I love everything that Kareem's saying here, and I think that he's right. The East is pretty crappy right now. The Western is showing to be more of the better conference at this point, record-wise. Yeah, and anything is possible. We just need to get into like healthiness and a groove with all of our guys available. Scotty and Emmanuel aren't going to take away from these guys and what they're building right now. They're going to just add to it. It's the kind of thing where Scott's a complimentary player, so is IQ. And when they show up, they're going to help RJ and Grady more than they're going to hurt them or take shots away from them. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, you think we'd be humiliating a lot of NBA teams? Well, let's just say beat them first. I'll take that first. I don't really want to humiliate any teams. I mean, what do you mean, like 30-point wins? I guess that is kind of humiliation. I guess. Monique is saying, good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Injuries after injuries, turnovers after turnovers. Third quarter, amazing. Davion, Chris, RJ, and Yak. Those are her stars of the game, apparently. And yeah, it's really not good to see Jacoby Walter take an injury to his shoulder, the same shoulder he's already injured and been out for. This league is tough, young guys. You got to be durable. You got to be able to hang with the lumps and the hits you might take while you're playing. And this is the reason why strength and conditioning coach is so important. Nutrition is so important. Getting rest is so important. Rehab and recovery is so important because you got to be out there and you're going to be in some ways taking licks and also getting physicality. And it's really not good to see Jacoby get hurt again all of a sudden already. Well, hopefully he has a fast recovery and there's no real big setback where he's going to miss weeks again. That'd be no good. And Mobo leaving the game was a hip pointer. And in some ways, we've seen that kind of stuff in the recent years with people like OG and different things like that. But I want to say this. I don't think Mobo was that hurt. He was kind of limping a little bit, and it's like it's his side right here where he's hurt. And I don't know. Hopefully, he'll bounce back really quickly, but it's likely that these guys will be not available for the first game in LA against the Clippers. Just the pattern with the Raptors is like guys go out of games. Well, they're going to probably miss at least the next game, and hopefully that's it. Hopefully that's it. Yeah, I like your stars of the game, Monique. Those are really good ones. Yeah, and the turnovers in the fourth quarter in particular are bad. They limited their turnovers most quarter. And that's too bad that happened. My three stars of the game for last night are very similar. I've got some of the same names. My number one star is Davion Mitchell. I was really happy with Davion. He came out there and he said in the pregame interview that he is getting up harder to go against the Kings, that this does matter, that this is the team he played for last year and the team that he has friends on, and that he wants to show up and have a really good game. And well, he has. He's done a really good job. And in some ways, I could wonders that maybe IQ taking his time to come back was partly to allow Davion to have these starts against his former team. And maybe IQ is miraculously healthy for the Clippers game in the brand new Intuit Dome. That would be awesome. I could kind of see that. Davion had he had his best shooting game as a Raptor last night, 8 of 11, which is fantastic for the type of shots he takes, that he shot so well. He only missed 3 shots and bombed like 8 in. 2 for 3 from 3. He made both his free throws, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, and only 1 turnover. 6-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, 20 points for the former King, Davion Mitchell. And of course, he's out there talking smack, as he said. He's talking trash to his former teammates the whole game. And he's also just very much involved in everything all over the place. There was one moment where RJ and Malik Monk got tied up in a moment. Or was that Malik Monk? No, it was Keon Ellis. They got their arms tied up for a second. Like Keon touched RJ's shoulder, and RJ turned around, and he bowed up real quick to come at him. And Keon was like, "What are you going to do?" And like they were saying, "Oh, you don't mess with me," is what RJ was kind of saying. And Davion came back around to Keon. He said, "What happened just now there?" And he's like, "Oh, I touched his arm or his shoulder or something like that." And he turned around and got in my face. But yeah, I like to see RJ standing up for himself. And Davion Mitchell's hilarious to come back and talk to his former teammate about what just happened and try and regulate and make sure things are okay. But yeah, Mitchell was awesome last night. He's my number one star. My second star of the game is Chris Boucher off the bench. Chris is once again electric and just shooting so well. This is probably what Darko told Chris in the offseason is if you want to play more for us and stay in the rotation, you have to make more of your threes than you miss. And he's really been doing that this year. Chris Boucher has improved his three-point shot. In some ways, you can tell by the confidence when he shoots it. He's really money, and he's really, really confident. Like, it's not that, in the past, we've seen Chris for a long time now. In the past, Chris would clank like really crazy bricks or sometimes half-ass shoot it. And sometimes also he would shoot like really low arcing shots and they'd hit the front of the rim. He's been on an odyssey with his three-point technique, and where he's gotten to now is excellent. He really gets a good arc on it, and he really does seem like this is something that he really, really, really overworked on this summer. And this is part of the maybe the most important thing that Darko said to Chris after the end of the season is that I can play you if you make the threes. Well, he's doing it. He's making the threes. He was 3 of 6 from three last night, 50%, 7 of 11 overall, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and 17 points. Only a -1 off the bench in 25 minutes. Yeah, Chris here has been fantastic. And it seemed like everything was going in for him last night. So he's definitely a star of the game. My third star of the game is RJ Barrett. RJ was not exactly his best, but he was pretty good still. And I want to give him some credit for it. 33 minutes, he had 23 points, 9 of 19 from the field, 1 of 5 from three, 4 of 5 from the free throw line. He did miss one free throw, but that's, you know what? I'll give you one, RJ, a game. One. 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 3 turnovers. Yeah, it's not the best RJ game, but the fire and the passion was there. And the ability to go get a bucket for the Raptors at any given time is also there. So I really, really, RJ is just awesome. He in some ways, I really was hoping that when DeMar was starting to do some of the stuff he did in the fourth quarter, that we'd get into a little bit like, hey, it's the 30th anniversary season. Why don't we go and celebrate things like AI versus Vince Carter, back and forth 50 games in the 2001 playoffs? Well, in some ways, I want to see that head-to-head classic NBA tit for tat between two superstars and RJ Barrett and DeMar DeRozan. If we could have seen a little bit of a back and forth in the fourth quarter where DeMar was making really excellent turnaround shots with hands in his face, and then RJ was coming down and hitting something for our side, I would have loved to have seen that because that's a really interesting kind of matchup for that kind of stuff. But alas, RJ wasn't getting fed the ball, and that we weren't being successful on offense in any kind of way at that time when DeMar started really cooking in the early fourth quarter. So yeah, but RJ was awesome. He's a great leader. He's taking the lumps. He's in there fighting. He's a real one. In some ways, I want to call RJ the truth because there's so many things that you're in disbelief about these days. There's so many things you get jaded on. But if there's something I know I can count on in this world, it's RJ rides for the 416, and he is a real one that's coming out there and giving it his all every single time he takes the court and the Raptors red. So that's part of why. I mean, I can have some honorable mention for Jakob Pertl in the top stars also, but I only do 3 on losses. So there's my 3 stars of the game right there. Davion, Chris, and RJ. 2 Canadians. Yeah, there was that 2 Canadian, 3 rookie lineup out there for a little while. Chris and RJ, and then like Shed, Mobo, and Battle. And yeah, those weren't that bad. They weren't that bad. And we also saw Battle Dick formation early in the game once again. Like halfway through the first, we see Battle and Dick on the court at the same time. And that Battle Dick formation is so good for spacing. And we need Jameson to get more confidence. It seems like his confidence was really high through summer league and training camp, but recently he's been missing more. And in some ways, his play has suffered for his shot not going in. Is what's going on right there. Yeah. Daniel's here. Hey, everyone. Good morning to you, Daniel Berry. Sports highlights. Y'all check out the sports highlights on Daniel's YouTube channel. That's right. Cowboy saying, I'm so impressed with this rebuild. Rely on Masai. The future is blinding. Blinding. It's blinding. I don't want that to be like that, Ray Charles. In some ways, we don't want to go blind. So wear protective gear is what I'm saying here. Wear some protective gear because the future's so bright for the Raptors. Yeah, I mean, you're hinting on, Bradley, the part of it that Masai and Bobby had to do with this. And that's getting the players for Darko to do a system. And this draft class, oh my gosh, man, they did so well. They did so well. And we're not even scratching the surface with even seeing Shamshay or talking about Shamshay or anything with Shamshay yet. He's just kind of on the back shelf. And we're going to come around, and he's going to be more and more over the next few years. More and more part of the reason why this year's draft class for the Raptors is just outstanding. Shed is already paying off dividends. Mobo is too. But we know the Prince, Shamshay, when he starts going with 905 and gets going, he's going to be added to the whole equation as far as, wow, what did Masai and Bobby do at the draft in 2024? What did they do? Look at what they did. And I mean, it really does strike some parallel similarities to the class of Fred VanVleet, Pascal, and Jakob all coming in together at the same time in the Raptors history. because we got to remember those guys were all rookies together. Fred, Pascal, and Jakob, and I believe also DeLon were all rookies the same exact year, and those guys were all hits, and they're all currently still in the league. So that says a lot about that draft class that the Raptors had. What, like 8 years ago? Something like that. It was longer than that. It's like 9 years ago or 10 years ago at this point. All of them are still in the league, and one of them is undrafted, and his name is Fred VanVleet. Fred VanVleet getting some redemption for kicking some butt for the Rockets last night. And, telling the press, it's like, I don't do this for Twitter. I don't do this for other people. I do this for myself. And I just come out there and play every night and do my best. Yeah, he's had some duds recently, but I could have told Houston fans that, listen, Freddie's going to have off nights sometimes, but you know what? He's going to come through for you in a big way and you should not be doubting him or feeling bad about him. And he did. He did. He came in last night and helped them get a big victory. So good, good. All right, let's see. Kareem saying, I love the West Coast swing. These games at 10 is the perfect nightcap. Games that finish at 9 have me scratching my head, finding things to do before I hit the sack. So you're a night owl. Hoo, 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 hoo. He's a night owl. Okay, yeah, I am too. I don't like how late they are, though. This has been really crazy week. I have the problems winding down because, I like the earlier games because I'll be wound up and watching highlights and the interviews until like 1 a.m. when it's a normal time game anyway. So when these games get done at 1 a.m., well, guess what? Lex is up till 4. And I don't go right to bed after the game's over. I do so much after the game that this has just pushed my time for sleep this week kind of to a smaller window. Like I'm averaging probably about 4 hours a night right now since Sunday. So that's just part of the West Coast trip. And I have no problem with it. In some ways, I take afternoon naps to kind of deal with it right now. I'll probably need one today, honestly. I'll probably need one today. That's right. Monique saying, would you rather have IQ back versus the Lakers or the Clippers? I'd rather have them back for both. I know that you're you know what, you're very smart, Monique. You're intimating that, IQ coming back from an injury is less likely to play a back-to-back, and he may sit one of them. So I don't know which one maybe he wants to play is what the factoring will be in. I don't know. It may be very likely that he doesn't play against the Clippers on Saturday, and he shows up and plays at Crypto against LeBron on Sunday instead. We'll have to see. I want IQ to come back for one of those games because I want him to be available for our in-season tournament game next Tuesday. So, yeah, if you're asking me, I think it's more likely he sits Clippers one more game for the Lakers. But you're right. That's a really good point, Superfan Mo, that it's not likely that Emmanuel will get thrown into a back-to-back situation this weekend for both of the games in LA. That's very, very astute of you and very wise of our Superfan. Seymour saying, I lost a really good friend from Rexdale out here, man. I've been down, can't shake it. People, please leave the drugs alone. Live life the fullest. You only get one shot. Long live a Rexdale Slim. I hate hearing about this. And you know what? This is crazy. It's Delano's birthday. Speaking of Rexdale today, guys. Happy birthday to 45 Bus, Rexdale Bus, Delano Banton. Man, fentanyl is a really, really bad epidemic in our country right now. I was watching something on Vice News, and they're talking about how the way the dangers of terrorism right now in our country, in the country down south, is that the fentanyl trade. And that honestly, the fentanyl is like killing so many people on the down low that in some ways it's just really, really awful. It's a really bad thing. Listen, it really isn't a good time to be into cocaine. Let's just put it that way. It's not smart to do fentanyl by itself. That is just rolling the dice with your life over and over again. Now, addiction and depression are things that are scourges in our society, and we need more social programs to reach out to people to help them. I really worry about the way politics are going right now because it's not very humanitarian. It's not very like, let's look out and care for people. It's kind of like you're on your own, sink or swim. And if you don't do well or you have problems, well, screw you. You're just going to get what you get. That's not civilization. That's not bettering the world. And unfortunately, it seems like the side that is not about being humanitarian or looking out for the weak and the sick and the people that need help is winning. And it's sad because I really do feel like there's good social programs both here and in the United States that get cut every day because of some bullshit looking at budgets and all this kind of stuff. You got to understand there's a human cost when you cut facilities and counselors for people that get into situations like Seymour's friend. So I hate this. I hate this. I hate hearing that your friend Rexdale Slim passed away. Rest in peace. And seriously, if y'all know anybody who's messing around with certain kinds of drugs right now, try and get involved in their life and intervene in some sort of way, as far as just like telling them how you feel about them and that you see this kind of stuff happening every day and you don't want them to become a statistic. I made some changes in my life when the fentanyl rise started to come around. I'm just guessing that this is what this is, because this is most commonly the issue with any kind of drug death right now is fentanyl. And rise of fentanyl came around. I changed certain habits that I used to have like years ago, because I knew that the odds and the stupid stuff that's going on with it are just too crazy with the outcome of fatality. So, man, I hate hearing this, Seymour. I'm sorry to hear this. This has been a really bad week in a lot of different ways. And I hate hearing that you lost a good friend, man. That's right. Keep your head up, bro. Stay strong. Okay, there you go. Seymour's saying, thanks, bro. I'm trying. It's hard. Yeah, just do what you can, Seymour, man. This just that's really unfortunate, man. I hate hearing stuff like this. That's right. Two finger salute to CJ Washington. I'll get behind that. That's right. Yeah, he's a younger ref, and he's one of the worst refs for us. Seriously, we win so little with CJ Washington, and you saw how he was kind of like doing really shady stuff in the game last night. Yeah, after the game, Natalie Sago had such a big shit-eating grin on her face, like they just pulled something off or something, like they're walking off. It's not that they needed to do anything. In some ways, like, if they had their bullet point, yeah, help the Kings win. And like, in the fourth quarter, we fell apart on our own. And in some ways, maybe they were like happy because like they didn't have to do any real overt dirty stuff to screw over the Raptors, because our compete and our ability to keep up with the Kings went away in the fourth quarter. In some ways, I don't know. Natalie's little smile was like annoying to me when she was leaving the court. Like, why are you so happy and satisfied with something here? Why don't you, leave with decorum and just leave as an official? She was like jubilant about the Kings winning, which was very much a red flag to me. Very much a red flag to me in so many different ways. That's right. Kareem saying, Seymour, my condolences. Man, I know a lot of people on the street struggling with drug use. I was crazy with drugs and alcohol for a time. Rest in peace to your homie. Angels picked him up, now chilling in heaven. Yeah. Yeah. If that's any kind of solace or comfort to you, there's no longer a struggle on this plane of existence with, whatever mental things and stuff that your friend has been going through as far as anguish. Addiction is fed by depression, anxiety, sadness, trauma, all kinds of bad things that happened to you in your life earlier. And that's this thing that we people, got to understand. People need help. Drug addicts don't need to go to jail. They need to go to rehab. And there's all kinds of like issues right now, with the horrible economy and having problems with just paying bills. People turn to numbing themselves with certain things. And it's just sad. It's just sad. Having an addictive personality myself and my struggles with drugs and alcohol, I know this all too well from the inside. And I just thank God that I've found my way out. And I can say, as of 4 days from now, I'll have 14 years without any alcohol. Alcohol will mess your brain up. It seriously will. It'll make you stupid. It'll make you do dumb things like vote for Trump. And Kareem, I applaud you for having sobriety for a length of time at this point. In some ways, we get good examples or bad examples all the time of why we made our choices in our lives, Kareem. And we need to remember to stick to them because we see this stuff that's still happening. Yeah, G's saying sorry for your loss, Seymour. Yeah, for sure, man. I hate hearing this stuff. I hate hearing this kind of stuff. Yeah, I've had friends that have died of drug problems in the recent years also. I've seen real tragic stuff. Like there's a lady who appears on my convenience store show that her spouse died of a drug overdose. a couple years ago, and it was really awful. They had friends that did not help the guy when he was out and dying. They probably could have saved his life if they were a little bit more on top of it. And now there's a little girl out there that doesn't have her dad, and she's only like 8 years old. Yeah, it's really horrible. This epidemic is really really bad, really really bad. Fiercely saying, honestly, our rookies are very impressive. I really feel confident when they're on the court. Kudos to our front office. Yeah, yeah, I'm really happy with the job they've been doing. People are going to be critical and they're going to say stupid shit. But the funny thing is, the evidence is there. The facts are the facts. And there's a lot of fact bending. There's a lot of lying. There's a lot of misinformation in our world right now. But there's no lying about what the front office of the Raptors did this summer. And there's no lying about Darko's fantastic system that's so enjoyable to watch. That's just the truth. Just like RJ Barrett. That's just the truth. Stargate's here. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. I didn't see the game. However, looking at the box score, what was glaring 15-32 free throw discrepancy in favor of the Kings. Yeah, Darko addressed this after the game. It was very interesting what he said. He didn't outright criticize the referees for the discrepancy. There was kind of a share of the responsibility with him, as far as he said, there's two things we got to do. One is we've got to stop defending and fouling so much. That it's kind of something that he's admitting, that our players are fouling people a lot on defense, and that may be partly because of the lower experience overall of our roster. But also he did say outright in the interview last night, I wish we were getting as many free throws as the other team, and I think we should be, because I don't see anything different about what we're doing compared to them. So he didn't do an exactly it's a complete crap speech last night, and he wasn't angry. It was more like saying, yeah, I see where we could improve as far as like not fouling as much on defense. And also, yes, I do feel like we should be earning more trips to the line, more equal with the other team. So he did talk about this. Now, I would say that in this game last, the free throw discrepancy wasn't really the part of it like it was in recent games where we could absolutely call it out. Like the Lakers game, absolutely the free throw discrepancy was a problem. And the other game the other day that we lost, I think Denver on Monday. Those two games had really bad free throw discrepancies. I'm not going to look at the one last night and say it was as bad. But yeah, and there's dumb stuff too. Like the refs will figure out like when you get a shooting foul and when you have to side out. And those are sometimes so fishy. Like the logic between like what's the difference between a side out on a foul and what actually gets you to the line is so weird sometimes. And they have weird reasoning sometimes for why they do what they do. It's very obvious sometimes people are coming up with their shot, but we're side out. And it's not like, oh, but he was shooting. Why are we bouncing the ball in? That's one of the ways they shave free throws from us sometimes, is doing that kind of stuff. That's right. I want to look at the box score since you brought it up. You said the word box score, so let me go look at the team stats real quick. The Raptors shot better than the Kings last night. We shot 49%. They shot 47%. We got fewer shots than them, but made one more shot. We shot exactly the same amount of 3-pointers, 10 3-pointers for us, 10 for them. We shot one less attempt, so we technically shot better from three last night. At the free throw line, we did get half the free throws that they got, and that is really kind of awful. They shot 87% from three also. So they got 17 plus at the free throw line last night off 32 attempts. 28 makes, and we only had 11 made free throws. Yeah, you know what? It is very glaring, Stargate. In some ways, getting double the free throws, that's Ed Malloy and them. It's home cooking for the Light the Beam arena. They out-rebounded us by plus 13, which is not a good stat. In some ways, we've been doing really well in the rebounding with other teams, but last night, for some reason, I don't know if it's Sabonis. It's probably Sabonis as far as things. And also they were doing really well with attacking the offensive rebounds. They got 15 offensive rebounds. And Darko did mention this after the game, that we've got to keep them off the board for second chance. In some ways that we were doing a good job in parts of the game with that last night. And we've done a good job this season with not letting the other team get on the offensive boards. But last night, it kind of got out of control a little bit. The assists were 25 to 26. In some ways, we weren't connecting and cohesiveness as we were in games recently. So our assists slowed down. We had really good assists in the first half, but in the second half, the assists kind of dropped off. We weren't connecting. Stocks 8 to 12 for the Kings. Turnovers, we did end up having 12 turnovers. I think going into the fourth quarter, we had so we got like 5 just in the last quarter, and that was a problem. So we're having problems with turnovers in the fourth quarter. This is something that they just got to clean up. Now, in some ways, we get our talent back, like Scotty and Emmanuel. That'll help with lessening the turnovers late in the game because we have a lot of very young players that are playing crunch time. That is very, very much like they're going to be turnover prone, possibly. So that'll be part of the thing that'll help that. But also on the flip side, those young players getting those kind of reps in crunch time in high pressure building like the Sacramento building is really valuable experience for them at their very young careers. Very, very valuable. Only 12 fast break points. That's something they limited on us. Is that we didn't get in transition as much as we would have liked to. And we were playing with pace and force, but there wasn't really like a good transition, a fast break going on too much. We beat them in the points of the paint, 58 to 50. Yeah, they only called 13 fouls on the Kings last night. So there, you know what, you guys, the more I do the autopsy on the box score right now, maybe there was something to the free throw discrepancy being a very important factor in last night. Of course, they broke loose and got away from us in the fourth. And well, it was just like whatever. And we saw Bruno Fernando come in right at the end of the game. That's right. Mo's saying she's sad about Jacoby. Yeah, it sucks. You know, we can't catch a break. I don't like how Matt Devlin says we caught the injury bug, like it's some sort of virus or some sort of like affliction that you can get just like you caught it. Like, I hate that. No, let's not act like that. In some ways, once again, strength and conditioning, health, sports management, medicine, Dr. McKechnie. Let's get to work, y'all. Seriously. Let's get to work. G saying, I'm pretty sure the Raptors have one of the highest discrepancies of free throws on the reverse of the Lakers in the league. Yeah, I mean, this is actually a parameter that we should look to and talk about and like kind of check in with just to see the accumulation of this over the season. And you can look at how the Lakers get a favor in this, and it really does kind of show you just how biased the league is with how they dole out free throw attempts. Because we'll have to look at this with the cumulative more and more as the season goes on, and I think this is exactly true as far as like it's crazy. It is crazy. Yeah. Fiercely saying, my sympathies at Seymour. Be strong. There you go. There's you go. Looking out. Seymour saying, Raptors freaks. There you go. I like how you spelled that out in the emoticons. I got to set you up still with doing the emoticon stuff. Seymour saying, thank you, everyone. It goes a long way. Trust me. Yeah, we're here for you, man. In some ways, like, you know, we're here for you, dude. And you know, if we give a shit, we care, and we care about your friend Rexdale Slim too. We do. That's right. That's right. Stargate saying, Mo, what happened to Jacoby? Jacoby ran into Demotis. It was a similar thing to what happened with RJ in the preseason with Jonas. And as Alvin said, or somebody in the broadcast said, Lithuanian centers, stop hurting our players. Seriously. It's like we're getting shoulder injuries from Valanciunas and Sabonis. So yeah, Jacoby ran around a screen, ran into a brick wall named Demonis, and he hit his shoulder, the one that has been hurt already, and he had to leave the game, and he didn't come back in the game. So he left, and we also had Mobo leave the game last night with an injury and not return. So a couple of bad news from that with players going out once again. We can't afford to have any more players out. Well, players go out. Hopefully players come back. You know, Bruce Brown, show up, my guy. Come on, Bruce Brown, come on out, man. There's minutes to be had right now. Kareem saying the shoulders contusions fighting around picks could be concerning. We need Jacoby to steal some shoulder pads from old dresses in the 70s and stuff them in his sleeves. You mean those shoulder pads that are like really big? They almost look like they could be pads for football. Yeah, that was an '80s thing, totally. I mean, I guess that was in the '70s too. It probably started in the '70s, but it went into the '80s. I mean, I can remember my mom having shoulder pads, like, when she was wearing certain things, like, back in the day. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, protection's important, I've heard wrestlers on podcasts recently talk about, the padding that they would wear as wrestlers really helps in certain ways with taking bumps. When Mick Foley would do the Nestea plunge, in some ways, that's not totally his butt there. There's a little bit of cushioning that he would wear. I mean, he's fat and he's a doughy guy, but there are places where people are wearing protection that really helps them take falls and stuff. So yeah, we need Jacoby to strengthen up and be stronger because this league is a hard knocks league, and you're gonna be taking licks, and in some ways that's just par for the course. And you got to be like RJ. You got to be hardened like steel. That's right. Hardened like steel. That's right. Let's see. Let's see. I'm going to skip a couple of these. All right. Cowboys saying, I remember my mom back in the day. She could have played in the NFL with those shoulder pads. Yeah, they were crazy. They were crazy. They were like big and prominent. Very, very prominent. Yeah. Seymour's saying facts. My mom had them too. Yeah, they look like they should be playing in the NFL or CFL or something like that when they were wearing them. The good old days. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Trevor's saying, be strong, but not rude. Be kind, but not weak. Be humble, but not shy. Be proud, but not arrogant. Trevor coming in with his words of wisdom. Now, Trevor, you're late. It must be because you're on West Coast time. I'm like usually used to seeing Trevor show up right at the beginning of the chat, but here he is. So thank you for the words of wisdom, Commissioner Jay, our commissioner of fun. And yes, Trevor's a fun guy. I love Trevor. Trevor's a good dude. And yeah, those are good words of wisdom. Yeah, I wish that people in power would be on tap with that words of wisdom. Seriously, that'd be good. Cream saying Jameson battle breakup game pending. Okay, he's going to drop bombs in L.A. this weekend. All right, hopefully they're not in the toilet. No, I'm just kidding. No, I want Jameson to figure something out. Let's go look at the rest of the Raptors in the box score on that cue and see exactly what happened with Jameson battle last night because it was a mixed bag. First of all, we'll do the non-stars of the game. Pirtle, 5 of 8, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 10 points, a minus 18 in the time he was out there. Jakob didn't play too heavy last night, but he was important in the key. In some ways, he's kind of trying to negate the Sabonis factor in the game. That's half of what Jakob has to do is like he has to be a counterbalance to whatever huge guy is on the other side. And he does that well. He just missed another double-double by 2 rebounds. And yeah, 5 of 8 shooting. He didn't get the free throw line. There was a little stretch in the game where Jakob made like 3 baskets in a row for the Raptors in the lane, and that was awesome. They were really finding him really well, and he was really aggressive to put the shot in, and he was pretty much on point. That's something I like about Jakob Poeltl. And then we see on the other end, former Raptor Alex Len trying to do the same thing, and he's just missing bunnies and playing really horrible and stuff like that, like he did when he played for us. So, oh man, Jakob, not as many shots as I would have liked him to take because in some ways he was very effective down there at times. Let's Haji, 4 for 9, 2 for 7, 2 or 3 at the 3 free throw line, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, minus 22 in 12 minutes. This was an off night for the Jayhawks. And Abaji and Dick were both not winning players last night. They were allowing the other team to kick our butt. And it's too bad. Dick, 3 for 10. Like I said, he had an off night. Only an 0 for 5 from 3. He didn't hit a single 3 last night. 1 for 2 from the free throw line. 4 rebounds, 2 assists, a minus 22 with 7 points in 24 minutes. Yeah, it's just an off day for Grady Dick. It's too bad. It could very well be that Mike Brown and his coaches scouted Grady a little bit better. It could have very well be that Grady just had a game where he's going to have a down game at some point. He's been so consistently good so far this year that he was due for maybe an inconsistent game. And I mean, I'll take it. It was going to be 1 out of every 8 games that he may be off. Well, I'll take it. I'll take it. Bruno Fernando came in for 3 minutes at the end of the game. He got a rebound and an assist. And that was when we had waved the white flag and we were done for the night. And we were using our end of the bench to play at the end. And even though we were playing with the end of our bench because guys were hurt, Oshai Abaji a starter, had to end the game out on the court. Jamison Battle, 2 for 7, 2 of 5 from 3, 16 minutes with 6 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 turnovers. Yeah, it's too bad. Jameson actually was money at certain times, and I want his confidence to grow. And in some ways, he's learning right now the different kinds of ways that he has to get free to shoot his shot in the crazy, bigger, faster NBA. And he really doesn't have a whole lot of time. Now, on his side, he has a very quick release, and that's fantastic. And there was a time where he hit a three last night with somebody very close to him, and it was bothersome, but he made it. In fact, I want to circle back and say something about Chris Boucher's 3-point shooting again. His follow through right now is so money. Like that's part of the big success for Chris. Before, when he was younger, he'd flick the ball on threes. He actually used to hold it over his head like Bill Laimbeer and flip it over like this. Really, really bad mechanics, but he's changed his mechanics. And one of the things he's doing that's making it so much more successful, and this was a baseline three that he made in the corner, he's following through, and he made such a strong follow through. It didn't matter if Keegan Murray or one of the Kings came and kind of hit at him. He's followed through with it, and the ball went through the net. And I really love that. That's an improvement by Boucher I wanted to mention. Mobo, while he was out there in the 18 minutes, he played 2 or 3, 1 for 2 at the free throw line, four offensive rebounds, guys, which was fantastic. He's our offensive rebound. He got half of our offensive rebounds, 5 rebounds altogether, 2 assists, 1 steal, 5 points, a +4. So when Jonathan's on the court, we're winning. That's a message right there. Shed 2 for 5, missed his only 3, 1 of 1 at the free throw line, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 1 block. Yeah, Shed had a block last night. That was pretty cool. And 5 points in 16 minutes. And then Jacoby, before he got hurt, only 8 minutes, 1 for 3 from the field, 1 rebound, 2 points, but he was a +8. So once again, whatever's happening when Jacoby's on the floor, we're winning. So he's adding up to winning, even if he's not filling it up himself. I think it's because he's a very energetic player that's out there doing all kinds of hustling stuff all over the place. And usually comes out with Jonathan, and the two of them together kind of have an effect as far as doing that. Now, let's hope that Jacoby doesn't have a major setback or any kind of thing because of what happened last night, that he's able to return sooner than later. So, yeah, that's looking at the overall box score right there for the Raptors from last night. Yeah, I hope our young rookies can bounce back physically from the things that put them out last night. Really, really not good. Really not good. Yeah, let's see. Trevor's saying Sixers and Bucks in the bottom of the standings. I know. It's so weird. I don't think many people would have guessed that we, the Hornets, the Wizards, the Nets are all above the Bucks and the Sixers right now. It's so crazy, man. So crazy. Monique saying Stargate, same shoulder. Yeah, same shoulder as the one that he hurt in training camp. And Jacoby revealed the original injury with his shoulder was in a play with Scotty, that he hit Scotty with his shoulder, and that's why he was out. And I don't know why he mentioned it in an interview. Somebody asked him, when did you get injured? He said, in training camp, we were playing, and I ran into Scotty Barnes, and that's where I hurt my shoulder. Just so y'all know the origin of Jacoby's. Not that we want to blame Scott or anything. It's just that this is what we know at this point. That's right. Let's see. Stargate saying the refs allowing teams to be over physical with the Raptors increases the propensity for the Raptors players to get injured. Yeah, I mean, the league overall is allowing physicality in different ways, especially down underneath the basket. The one area where it's very dangerous, and Jack Armstrong was railing about this on the broadcast the other day, is the picks. And this is the problem with what happened last night with Jacoby, is some of these picks that are being set on the outside for shooters are absolutely devastating because the defensive player does not see them coming and they run full steam. And there's a big center like Sabonis or Jokic or something like that. They can really hurt somebody really bad if they're doing this. So in some ways, if the NBA is really interested in trying to cut down on injuries in the league, because this is a problem right now. Injuries are up, even though they're trying to help with the injuries by incentives. So you have to play 65 to get any postseason awards. There's all kinds of different things they're trying to incentivize. But maybe they need to change some of the rules about setting screens as far as like how they hit people and stuff like that, because this is where a lot of the injuries are coming from. is from like freight train picks that you're running into and just like bam, you're on the floor. So that's an area that the NBA probably needs to like examine and look at because it seems like this is where, well, it's obvious with these shoulder injuries to RJ and Jacoby, that's where it happened for us. So let's see. Carlos saying these losses are going to be a buffer for the 2025 draft pick because I don't see us losing once IQ and Barnes is back. That'd be awesome. That'd be like, I don't know if that's totally true. I just like, like I said earlier this season, I just don't want to see our team have a revolving door of these players are here now, and then these guys are out, then these guys are back, and then these guys are out. Like it's switching around, because then we'll never see the team at full strength, and this kind of stuff may not be able to happen, Kaloy. So I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. I hope that we see Emmanuel back this weekend, and we can have our complete team all together for a stretch of the year. But there's no guarantees of this. And it could be even that, like, because think about when Scott and Jakob got hurt last year. There was different people jumping in and out of the lineup, whether it was bereavement for Emmanuel and RJ, whether it was like, Kelly had to sit some games here, or, Bruce Brown came back for this, but then he was out for this. It seemed like there was a lot of injury management where our team was never actually fully there, obviously, without Scott and Yak. So I just don't want to have a full entire year like the of last year, where it could be really good for development. It could be really good for our two ways and our rookies, but also at the same time, we won't really understand exactly how good we could be with everybody healthy. And that's the thing I want to know about right there. That's what I want to know about. Kaloy's also saying, when I was an addict 20 years ago, at least I can count on my dealer not to poison me. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I mean, I had a guy too that I trusted for that, but it's kind of ridiculous that I did because honestly, I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have, but I did. I did. I had a guy that was my steady guy for like 10 years. And yeah, he was somebody that I felt like I could trust in that way. But, honestly, that's kind of ridiculous to even have trusted those people. Carlo is what I would say. It'd be crazy. Jill's here. Good morning, freaks. Good morning to Jillian, Miss Moody, Miss Moody. That's right. Hey, Cowboy, I send you healing thoughts, Seymour. There you go. All right. It's so sweet of you, Jill. So nice. Cowboy saying, can't wait to watch Shamshay destroy the G League. Yeah, once again, guys, we're going to go to a game on December the 8th in the G League Arena. Paramount Fide Food Center. Westchester Knicks are visiting the Raptors 905. And as a group, Raptor Freak hang out for this year. The first one is December the 8th, 2 p.m. at Paramount Fide Food Center. We're going to go there and hopefully have a nice little group of Raptor Freaks and enjoy the game in person. So if you can swing that, especially if you're west side of Toronto kind of person, Mississauga person, definitely mark this on your calendar and put some time aside for December the 8th. Paramount Fide Food Center, Westchester Knicks at 905. And we'll go down there and we'll watch them in person and we'll cheer on Prince Shamshay in person. How about that, guys? I'm giving you guys enough time to get ready. It's a month from now. So make your plans and, don't worry about getting tickets because we can go down there. We'll be able to get tickets at the door and get into the arena, I'm sure. If there's some sort of crazy year for 905 where they're selling out like crazy while the Raptors are struggling to sell tickets, well, so be it. It's because that 905 team is badass. That's right. Neil's here. Good to see Blackhawk. At Stargate, we came out with a ball pressure strategy. Once teams got a taste of it, they counter with the same thing on their next matchup with us. Kings just gave us a taste of our medicine. Yeah, I mean, we could kind of hypothesize that, being a more veteran team with more vets, it's easier for them to make adjustments and understand what it takes to do something different when you've seen somebody already. And having played us last Saturday in the Vince retirement game, the Kings have some film on us and they had some real experience with us. And, as much as our guys are young, they're playing all out, they're playing a certain way, they may not have the experience or knowledge to understand and to anticipate the adjustments that Mike Brown and the Kings roster will make when they see us the second time. That's part of the experience of learning as young players and developing in the NBA. And they're going to get better with this, and they're going to understand this. And in some ways, they needed to understand that the Kings were going to be coming to get some get back and even the series with us for the year. And in some ways, that as much as the game was won in overtime on Saturday for the Vince game, well, you got to go even harder when you're on the road and you're in a very hostile building and your crew of reps is not ideal or helpful or nice. So there's lessons in all of this. These are important lessons. Lessons. That's right. Lessons. Kareem saying, I thought the word decorum was a bougie way of decorating in a house. I'm a nut. Decorum. Well, decorum is like, pomp and circumstance. It's like extra grout or like finish. It's like putting something around something to make it more ornate, make it more fancy. Yeah, that's what it is right there. Fancy. Yeah, it's fancy. Yeah, yeah. Smooth saying, I'm sorry for your loss, Seymour. Yeah, we'll mourn with you today, City Slicker. We'll mourn with you. Carlos saying, rest in peace to Seymour's friend also. Rexdale Slim. That's right. Kareem saying, shit, Smooth is here. Let's hold out on the classic card. That's your cue, Lex. All right. You said it. And even though you're saying you want me to not do it, we're going to do it. As you did the magic words. All right, I'm pulling the first card, guys. Well, let's see what you guys do here. All right, the time is 10:07 on the chat where I'm jumping down from. Let's see. All right. I'm not going to show it too close. I'll bring it closer as it comes and see if you guys can figure it out. Actually, you can't figure it out from there. All right, let's see. Once again, this isn't so classic. Although this player is not on this team anymore, so maybe this is Rudy Gobert. That's right. Matt E is joined the classic card standings and getting a very easy Rudy Gobert. That's 100 points in the classic card of the day for you. That is Rudy Gobert, the big dummy, beginning of the pandemic. All right, Matt, I'm going to throw you in on the classic card chart for the points here. Let's see. It's Rudy Gobert. I got to write it all in real quick. And David, thank you for adding it all up after I leave and coming in. All right, I'm going to put Matt E. And you got 100 points today to your Raptor Freak score. So good job, man. I think this is your debut on a Raptor Freak trivia standing. So you got in there quick just before Carlo. So good job, Matt, getting the classic card today. Rudy Gobert, while he was a Utah Jazz, jazz man, jazzy man. Yeah, man. Jazz cigarettes, man. Infamous is saying, salute, freaks. The free throw difference in the second half needs to be addressed. You can see our players are afraid to D up because they're afraid of what the refs will call. Yeah, this is part of how they get a leash on the Raptors. They've done this for a few years now, especially with the Nick Nurse teams that were terrorizing teams with physicality and just coming at them with Precious and OG and all our great defensive players at that time. That was how they would kind of put a leash on our stuff, is to kind of like, you really, really call ticky-tack, touchy fouls. And that would be the way that they'd try and lessen our defensive intensity. So it's a similar kind of thing. Our Raptors are going all out. They're playing with hustle. They're going and getting after it. And in some ways, the fouls by the refs are supposed to make them feel like dissuaded or kind of like, why am I doing all this? It's because they're going to screw me over in either way. They're trying to break their spirit is basically what it is, with unfairness and not calling the plays right. And the other effect is that they have to second guess whether they're coming with too much physicality and they're collecting fouls and getting in foul trouble. So yeah, this is true. I won't disagree with this at all, but this is the way it's been for years. And our Raptors teams have been corralled to certain extents in this way. You just got to be smart about it. Darko did say after the game, our young players need to learn how to play without fouling so much. So he is conceding that we are fouling, but also at the same time, the stuff with the refs in this kind of way that they can manipulate energies and how tough teams can play defense is absolutely true. Absolutely true what Infamous is saying. Jill's saying, I agree with G in reference to the free throw discrepancies in reference to the Raps and the other teams. Yeah, it's been pretty bad this year, and we'll have to look at the stats at some point. I'll look at the cumulative free throw attempts for the Raptors versus their opponents, and exactly how this is skewed in such a crazy way. And then we could look at point differential on losses, Jill, and really kind of think about just how much that's detrimental and hurts our ability to try and win some of these close games that we've had so far this year. Randolph's here. Blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks, most informative gang. Training prepares you for the journey. Growth prepares you for success. Nothing good comes easy. Wow. Yeah, I can't disagree with hardly any of that stuff right there. Blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks. Yeah. Yeah, training and all that stuff, you just get forged in the fire. Iron sharpens iron, all this stuff they've been saying. Chop wood, carry water, all that stuff. Yeah, nothing comes easy. You got to do what you got to do to try and get the victory and learn over time. Young developing Raptors. All right, Leo's not got his life tip for today, so we'll skip Leo today. But thank you, Phillips family. Thank you, Randolph. Blessings to all the families of the Raptor Freaks right now. Yeah, Smooth saying, never meet your sports idols. Oftentimes you will be disappointed. Wayne Gretzky and his family celebrating with Donald Trump. That's disgusting. And that is sad. Yeah, in some ways, you're going to see a lot of people circle around and kiss his ass afterwards in dumb ways afterwards. Yeah, that's too bad. I would say that. Yeah, when you meet people, they're not necessarily the same people. Like, I would even say me. People have met me in real life and they're like, oh, Lex, from the stream, I'm going to expect Lex to be this way and this way. But then they meet me in real life and I'm not necessarily who you think I am in real life. And, that can be disappointing. Like, I hate drinking. And I don't know if any of y'all have ever thought, oh, I want to go and drink with Lex or something like that. But yeah, I've met some of y'all, and y'all's drinking has made me uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie; it has completely made me feel uncomfortable. And I mean, in some ways, I want y'all to be able to do what you want to do and have fun. But in some ways, I'm not about that kind of stuff. And in some ways, that was part of a conflict with some of the people when they met me in real life that it just didn't line up. It's like, yeah, the amount of drinking that some of the Raptor Freaks have done at some of the things that we've done, I've been kind of like very uncomfortable with. Let's just put it that way. Very uncomfortable. Randolph saying, Lex, I'm okay with our main guys getting fully healthy. It allows for the growth of the others that we are developing for our bench. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if we're gonna do like it's a stealth tank, as people like to call it, if there's some sort of like balance to having main guys out and young guys getting more of an opportunity because of it. That's great because in some ways the development is accelerated because of the absence of people like Scotty and Emmanuel. So I mean, we got to play whatever is happening to our best advantages and get the best benefits from whatever the settings are. So yeah, Blackhawks saying, "Don't worry, SBM. They only revealing themselves." Smooth brown man. Yeah, I mean that's the sad thing. Like, you know what I'm going to say right now. I understand what happened this week is crazy, and I'll just say, America hates women. America hates women. That's for sure. Because the sad thing is, there's a lot of people on my party that didn't vote. Like it was very similar to the Hillary thing, where a lot of people just expected her to win, and they just sat on the sidelines, but they didn't learn from the lessons of 2016, which is disappointing. There were like 17 million Democrats that didn't vote in this election, and they're saying that only 3 million of the other side didn't show up. And this is such a close election. If there's people that didn't show up because of Kamala not denouncing the genocide in Palestine, if there's people not showing up because she's not left enough and she catered to centrists in the middle too much during her campaign, y'all are idiots because you just don't understand like what was at stake in this election. And for you to have some sort of principled individual reasoning for, this is MSG shit, like the MSJ, the idiot who used to be on this channel, who used to talk about, oh, I'm not going to vote and all this stuff. That's the apathy and the bullshit that allowed for this bullshit to happen this week, honestly. So I'm very proud of myself. I went through the hoops and voted from this country and made sure I voted, and I didn't make the same damn mistake that I made in 2016 when I didn't vote for Hillary Clinton, and I should have, because I just thought that Trump was a joke. And honestly, who the fuck would vote for a rapist reality show fuckface in the office? I thought it was unrealistic. Well, I found out that it's a very real stupid ass fucking world with dumbass people, and the education system of the United States is obviously failing. The IQ of the people that voted for Trump is very low. Trump people are very low IQ, and there's a lot of them up here too that are absolute idiots. And I honestly don't have any respect for them. I feel like they're people that just do not understand exactly what's going to happen. and they're gonna find out. And I'm gonna be like, yeah, you fucking idiots enabled this fucking idiot to do what he's doing down there. And it's going to be different than last time because this time he's coming back punitively. He's coming back, and also the other thing is, I really do believe that democracy died this week. I don't totally believe that this election was fairly won because partly there was a lot of election interference by Russia, Elon Musk, and information brokers online. They shape the things in people's heads and make them think that this is this and this is this, and they're manipulating through lies, distortions of truth, and absolute fear mongering. And that's the sad thing, that a lot of weak people bought all this bullshit and they continue to still believe it. So it is what it is. In some ways, I'm gonna just live my life and do what I do. And well, hope that the whole world doesn't burn down in the next 4 years. Because in some ways, the United States may be in trouble for their constitution, their system of democracy, which I don't believe is true anymore, because the corporations are buying people's votes at this point. The corporations buy the hate for Joe Biden, they buy the hate for Kamala Harris, and they buy the hate for Justin Trudeau. People that think that they are rogues against these guys, you're actually not. You're in the pocket of the 1%, the billionaires that want you to hate these leaders because these are the leaders that are going to come and tax the big money corporations, the very, very rich people, and get the fair share for the common people. These are the people that are going to lower prices on prescription drugs and groceries. And they duped you into thinking that they're the ones that, this is, it's so maddening and crazy how dumb the right wing people are, the MAGA people are. They're so stupid. They're going to have worse lives because they voted this way this week. They're going to have worse outcomes because of abortion bans. They're going to have worse outcomes because of tariffs. It's so uneducated and stupid. In some ways, we really are fulfilling the prophecy of Mike Judge's movie, The Idiocracy. I mean, the RNC with Hulk Hogan up there might as well have been Terry Crews in that movie. We dumb. Oh, we dumb people. Oh, we're gonna vote Donald Trump. We dumb. Yeah, that's what's going on right now, and it's all part of the plan. The very, very rich people want you to be stupid, so they take the funding from your schools, so your children are dumber, so they'll be easier to be more obedient and follow in this. You people think that they're outlaws or rogues by going against Justin Trudeau. No, you're not. You're being bought for by the corporations that are anti-Trudeau because they don't want him to come and get their to tax and pay their fair share. So yeah, you guys think you're on the side of we're frigid for freedom and like he's all awful convoy people. No, you guys are puppets for the billionaires and y'all don't even know it because they paid for misinformation and y'all hook, line, and sinkered it. The people that are on that side. I know most of y'all are smart and awake and understand what's going on here, and I applaud y'all. But yeah, people that aren't getting it, well, you know what? You're a dumbass, is what I'm going to say. You're a dumbass. Seriously. Really, really dumb. Really, really dumb. All right, let's keep going. All right, let's see. Carlos saying when the Donald enacts his mass deportation operation, this will be such a grand shit show and so inhumane that MAGA supporters will drop off in the first year. Well, I don't understand why these people. First of all, I'm not totally sure these numbers are right. I don't trust the mainstream media at this point. In some ways, who's to say that Bezos, Musk, the Koch brothers, all the people that have all the money, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, didn't just pool their money and just buy off the AP News or just buy off people. And just like, I may sound like the other side right now, but I don't totally trust the integrity of this election. But I'm in some ways, I don't care. I'm just going to throw up my hands and say, you know what, America, you get what you get. You get what you get. And thank God I live north of your border. Seriously. Seriously. It's crazy. All right, let's keep going. It's disgusting. Kareem's saying not worried about the foul calls against us is building a representation that you can't call every foul on us because of being aggressive. Kind of like when Nurse had us hand checking everyone and everything. Yeah, I mean, the Raptors as a brand kind of have this in our history. That in some ways, I got the Super Nintendo. I'm playing the NBA Live '96, the first game that the Raptors ever appeared in, and I'm playing as Damon Stoudemire and Willie Anderson, and I'm spam stealing. I'm like just running up. You know how you do that in basketball video games, where you just run up and your strategy is to just keep stealing and run him down and transition and making layups. Well, I'm trying to do that in this game, But the whole name Raptor kind of puts that persona or mentality in our players throughout the whole history, the 30 years of the Raptors. We've had a very gritty, gutsy defense that's about steals and getting on people. And it's partly the Raptor mentality. So in some ways, it's part of that. It's just part of the motif and the identity of our teams throughout the history. I mean, that's just been how we've had to do it because of disadvantages and different things that we've had to overcome as a franchise in Canada. So I think that it's partly that, but it's also we've had some coaches that are very good at getting aggression on defense out of our players. Nick Nurse especially. But Darko's doing a good job right now too, and that's part of it also. Smooth saying, anyways, I'm shutting up. It's all right. In some ways, I'm allowing for a little bit, but in some ways, I really don't want to go into those areas. I'm disappointed about Gretzky with that. In some ways, he doesn't need to do that. There's been a lot of people that have disappointed me in recent years because of certain political beliefs that they have that I find out. It's too bad. It's too bad, but it is what it is. In some ways, we gotta let people be stupid. People gonna be stupid. They're gonna be stupid. In some ways, it's just part of the world. Monique saying yesterday was the first time I cried in a while with all the donations coming in quite quickly. There you go, Mo. I'm so happy about this. If there's anything that I want to pay attention to right now, it's the amazing outpouring of support for our super fan Monique Lawrence and getting her brand new wheelchair. I want to keep updated on when you get it, what it looks like. Send us pictures, and if they do anything really really cool for you as far as things with the MLSE, and maybe you have an open gym episode or moment. I don't know what they're going to do for you, but that'd be awesome to keep updated on this, Mo. And I'm so glad that you've met your goal and that the Raptors themselves helped you out. That is amazing. And you know what, Monique, we love you and you deserve the help. When you put that up last week, and when I heard that you'd gone to the game and you'd had trouble with your chair, I thought that this may be something that you're going to need to do, just because I heard about like how much trouble you had that one night. And I'm just so happy that we could rally together and get things going in this kind of way for you so quickly. That's really, really awesome. It's really, really good. Carlos saying, congratulations, Mo, on your new chair. Yeah, these are the feel good stories I need right now. Seriously. And in some ways, I'm going to point to the really great examples of humanity coming together and being benevolent and kind instead of ugly and racist and misogynist. And the other thing that's really sad is just how much of the young males in this world are absolutely idiots, incel kind of behavior that hate women and are absolute racists. There's a lot of right-wing Nazi bullshit that's going on with young people. And that's sad. Like that young males are being lost to right-wing echo chambers that hate women. And there's a lot of this bullshit happening right now. See, that's the problem. There's a lot of very rich people putting out media right now to shape people in very ugly, disgusting, vile ways. And misogyny and chauvinism is a really big tool for disenchanted young males who, quite frankly, can't get laid or have problems and issues with their mother, or they have issues with women. And it's really easy to get them to be very anti-women if they have hurt in their lives from women already. And that's something that the right wing has been preying on silent for the years. And we're seeing a very sad crop of young men that are absolutely brainwashed and hateful towards women. And that's scary, man. That's a big part of what happened here. That's a big part of what happened with this election. It's really, really scary. If you find yourself in echo chambers, if you're a young male that watches me, pay attention to the messages of some of the places you are. And it's not cool to be hateful. It's not cool to be racist. It's not cool to hate women and be wanting to be violent towards them. None of that's cool. But some people out there are trying to make it cool, whether it's people like Aiden Ross, whether it's people like Joe Rogan. They're all full of shit and they're anti-women. And they helped this fuckface win this election this week. It's absolutely crazy. Let's see. Trevor saying, I watched the interview with 905 general manager. He said Juric is the first one to be in the gym. That's awesome. That's great to hear that the young Cameroonian is the first guy to show up and get in the gym and do good things. He's very serious about things. In fact, he's probably very eager. He's got to understand he's so young. that it's gonna all come in time. He may be like, I want to go on the road trip with the Raptors like the other guys. No, you got to stay back and learn. And we were going to use you as a project, and you're going to get better and better and better because you're not going to skip any steps. So, Shamshay, we're excited. And I love hearing that news, Trevor. I really do. Blackhawk Santa, hear you, Smooth. Things happen like this to enlighten everyone on how we all need to change. Yeah, I mean, as much as we think we've gone so far, well, they're taking us back. As much as Kamala said we're not going back, well, unfortunately, we are because people sold you out. People, may have been like, we'll support her, but I really do think that America will never ever elect a female president. That they feel like, there's some sort of weird, like, weak men out there that just don't want to be bossed around by a woman. And that's the mentality of half of this shit is misogyny and just the idea of like, oh, a woman is in charge of my country. I can never let that happen. And the sad thing is, there's people in my party that have this mentality secretly that didn't show up this week, partly because of this. It's really, really sad. It's really, really sad. Let's keep going. All right, let's see. Classic card and Instagram stories. All right, I've done the classic card, so we'll do the Instagram story right now. Thank you, Monique. First, we got Kelly Olynyk coming to the game last night wearing a really cute lion shirt. I liked Kelly's shirt last night. In some ways, in these times, I need something silly and frivolous like Kelly Olynyk's like very cute lion shirt. So thank you, Kelly, for being a bright ray of sunshine with your fun shirt there. Norman Powell at the arena last night with the Clippers, and he's working out. And guess who's there with him? And they're getting an embrace. It's champions from 2019, Mr. Lowry, the GOAT, getting a big hug from his brother, Norman. Yeah, so love to see the reunions of our Raptors champions 5 years later. Whether it's Danny Green and Norman Powell being on the podcast recently, or Kyle Lowry being in LA last night, hugging it out with Norman. I love seeing that, man. There's a real legacy and a culture and a history to our championship team. And these guys are awesome. Marc Gasol, Serge Ibaka, Jeremy Lin, all these guys have gone on to interesting things and are international, and they carry our championship team with them wherever they go because they got rings in Toronto with Kawhi and Nick Nurse and Kyle Lowry. That's right. There you go. And there's some action from the game. Of course, the Sixers lost badly to the Clippers. James Harden and Norman Powell taking them apart. There you go. Monique has a list of the Raptors specialty nights for this season. I don't know where you found this, Mo, but it's very informative. It's awesome. And they're saying the next date is November the 15th. It's our Emirates NBA in-season tournament game against the Detroit Pistons next Friday. There's a Canada basketball night on the 18th when Siakam's here with the Pacers. Yeah, they got the greatest of all Toronto nights. I'm not sure what those nights are. They're probably going to be alumni nights where you're going to have people show up. But yeah, there's a list out there. Check it out. Follow Monique so you can get this information easy on your Instagram stories. Thank you, Mo, for posting that. There's a very informative list of the Raptors specialty nights for their games. And I'm going to guess a lot of these games will be in purple jerseys also. Davion Mitchell showing him coming into the game when he was wearing a jersey and at the Sacramento Kings game. He has a wristband that says joy on it. And yeah, there he is blowing on his hands and there's some Sacramento fans that wanted to take a picture with him. And this is bigger than basketball fandom. Even this is Kings Nation. They still like Mitchell because in some ways he was like a fan favorite to some of their fans. Jamal Shed is showing off a clip from who is that shooting that three? Is that Siakam? That's pretty cool that Shed is showing off. No, maybe that was a different player. That looks like, was that TJ Warren? I'm not totally sure who player that is. But anyway, Shed's got a guy on blast from the Pacers, which is interesting. Jamal McGlure showing off the Vince Carter dunk highlight on his Instagram for some reason. I guess it's just celebrate Vince week. So it's pretty cool. Oh, there's a guy jumping over a pole vault at the same time. It's kind of hilarious. Vince did talk about this weekend, being a track and field star in high school. He did do like the pole vault and the jump and all that stuff. And he was exceptional at it. I'm not going to lie. This dude was very good at track and field in his high school, obviously because of his leaping ability. So yeah, Vince was a multi-sport kind of player in high school, and he was track and field, and he did do high jump and long jump and stuff like that. Let's see what else is going on in Jamal McGlure's. He's got Dwayne De Rosario on blast on cool. And what's the last one? Oh, he's got the air conditioner for the old car is just the window handle. Jamal McGlure is always doing throwbacks. He's definitely a Gen Xer. Definitely a Gen Xer. Yeah, there's some clips from them warming up the game last night on the Raptors admin. There's Davion signing hats and jerseys for the Sacramento player fans. So cool to see that he gets a nice warm reception when he comes back to Sacramento. Meanwhile, Paul George is getting booze in LA on the same night. There's RJ taking some practice threes on the side of the court. Yeah, it's unfortunate they lost, but you know what? Like Cowboy said, a win is a win, and a loss is a win right now too for the Raptors. DJ Carton has a nice picture of a sky setting, and it's actually from his girlfriend. And the caption says, "Home with you," and it's Toronto. DJ Carton. So DJ Carton and his lady are in Toronto right now, coming in on the flight. And he's also got on blast the VC night with everybody in line for the anthems on Saturday night wearing the VC 15 purple shirts. It was Grady's mom's birthday yesterday. Thank you, Monique, for bringing that up in the chat yesterday. He's saying happy birthday to the best mom in the entire world. So, yeah, happy birthday to Carmen Dick yesterday. You know what? I'm going to write that in on the birthday sheet. Why not? Let's put her in on there. She has the same birthday as Dr. James T. Naismith. So we'll put Carmen Dick on there just so we know when Grady's mom's birthday is from now on. And as I said earlier, it is Delano's birthday today, just so y'all know. Happy birthday to Rexdale Bus. That's right. Yeah, and he loves his mom so much. Raptors 905, they did something weird yesterday with their players, asking them, what is this room? And it's a picture of a bathroom or a washroom or a restroom. And they were all saying different things. In some ways, I didn't like this whole thing. Like, why are you showing pictures of bathrooms to the 905 guys, first of all? And why are you making light of the whole idea that, Americans call that room different than what Canadians call it? Like, we call it the restroom up here or the washroom. We call it the washroom up here. And the players were like saying, why they call it the washroom? It's not like you wash in there. Well, actually, technically, you wash your hands. You can wash your face in that room. So washroom is pretty good. And they were saying like, well, why you call it a bathroom if it's just a toilet and a sink? It's not like you're doing a bath in the bathroom. So I don't know. This seems like an unnecessary thing to divide the 905 Americans from their Canadian team, the 905. It's ridiculous. Come on with better content. 905 people that are asking questions to them. The food questions and the riddles and the jokes are funny. But, asking them differences in vernacular between Canada and the U.S. only makes it more apparent that they're in a foreign country. And in some ways, we don't need these guys feeling like that. We need to make them feel like they're at home. So alienating them by asking them, well, this is the washroom up here instead of the right look, 905 content creator. Let's just put it that way. Jacoby Walter putting on blast up there for Holy Cross. I'm not even sure who that is. And there's your Instagram stories for today. Yeah. The 905's ramping up, and our season's going to start with them very soon. Very, very soon. I'm excited about it. I want to watch some 905 games. In fact, I'm going to be more like they have to win with the G League level this year than the Raptors level. Because in some ways, they should win. They have an abundance of talent. They have a stacked team. And the Raptors 905 should be winning most of their games. Seriously, they need to be winning it. That's right. Smooth saying at Blackhawk, I'm extremely upset. I just can't believe it, but I do in a way. Yeah, I mean, in some ways, it's a certain level of money will corrupt you. It really is. Like a certain level of money will make you say, yeah, fuck everybody. I'm just going to go with the evil side of things. And that's sad. In some ways, Gretzky's probably at that point, honestly. It's probably just how it is. That's right. Yeah. Let's see. Art by Nellis Studio. Welcome. Thank you for the subscription. Great to see a new name in the chat. And they are apologizing for the picks by Sabonis and Valanciunas for the shoulder injuries. He's apologizing for all Lithuanians. I love you, man. You are my Baltic brother. I am an Estonian man myself. And, Lithuanians are always welcome and loved in my life because of my Baltic roots. So, it's all good. I mean, I love Jonas Valanciunas because he's a Raptor from back in the day, and he's always been one of my favorite guys. So it's tough. It's a tough league, Hard Knocks. And like I said just a little while ago, the league may need to look into how we're setting picks so that they're not causing so many injuries. That may be a specific area they could look at, But yeah, I appreciate the apology for all Lithuanians for this stuff. You're getting a dunk, man. Art by Nails, you're getting a dunk because that's hilarious. You just came in and apologized for a whole country. And man, respect. Is respect from Estonia to you, my guy. Respect from Estonia to you. Yeah. All right, let's see. We're gonna give you a 5-pointer. You got the Emmanuel quickly. 5-pointer. All right, let's see. Infamous saying the way things are going, we may need to start looking at 10 days, bring in Lonnie Walker. Yeah, I mean, is it too soon to like get some of the 905 guys up, like Disu or somebody or something? I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah, Lonnie went overseas. He didn't work out with the Celtics. They weren't willing to go into the tax, so he's already gone. He's gone to EuroLeague at this point, so he's not around at this point. Smooth saying, I can't focus on basketball. I watch Lex to calm down. That's good. I mean, in some ways, man, I get it. In some ways, there's been a lot of sadness and anxiety and just really like disappointment this week. It's really sad. Think that the world is just and fair and right. But this week, what happened is not just and fair. It's messed up. And it really does show that politics are bought and paid for at this point. That's the thing that's messing me up the most. I'm getting so jaded that it's just that everything is controlled by the ultra rich. And that, they got us so many stupid people so confused about who the problem is and who the actual enemy and the problem with the high prices and things. It's really, really messed up. Disinformation, misinformation rules the day, and fear mongering is what's lighting a fire under some weak ass people's lives. And in some ways, I'm strong. I understand this shit. I'm not gonna be all fucking like stupid and fucking making decisions because I'm afraid of people coming to take things from me, or I'm afraid of trans people or all this stuff. It's all fucking cowards that voted for Trump, and they did it because they're scared of certain things happening. And that's the sad thing. It's uneducated and it's stupid. Blackhawk saying, I had to watch basketball to keep the politics off my mind yesterday. Yeah, in some ways, I don't want to think right now. Adriana calls me on the phone. She says, how you doing? I was like, don't ask me that because I don't even want to check in on how I'm doing right now. Don't ask me that. Just let me go into mindless research for the channel, mindless watching the games. Just I need the distractions and to turn my brain off. And in some ways, I don't want to start envisioning what's going to happen in the States in the next 4 years. I want the distraction of the Raptors. I want the distraction of this channel for you guys too. And I appreciate you guys, man. Appreciate you guys so much. You guys are a distraction for me just as much as I am for you guys. I know we're bringing them up and talking about it, but in some ways, we've got to acknowledge it and kind of work through it all together. And that's kind of the way I look at it right now, man. Blackhawk saying, I had to watch basketball to keep the politics off my mind yesterday. It's just really disheartening. It's sad because, like, what is the message to women in the United States right now? It's really awful that you don't matter and that this is going to be a big, big problem. Part of the problem is that he's going to get to replace Alito and Thomas on the Supreme Court. And that's going to really solidify that really crazy MAGA right wing people that are in that Supreme Court. And this is what the thing y'all didn't realize on that side is that he's now going to solidify this point where he is absolutely ensconced in power because the Supreme Court will rule immunity for him on everything at this point. We've got to understand there's certain politicians that aren't politicians. They're not for people. They're businessmen. And their names are Doug Ford and Donald Trump. And they're utilizing our government systems to enrich themselves. It's all like favors. In some ways, the favor giving that Trump gave out as many people as possible leading into this election, like Elon Musk, is really like now he's got to pay them back and give them all these things like immunity or not looking this way on this so you can run roughshod and you're in an industry and make so much money off of environmental degradation and subjugation of your employees. It's really high level, fucked up, diabolical, evil shit. And we shouldn't be electing businessmen as politicians. We should be electing leaders and politicians that care about the people and their constituents and not their egos and their bank accounts. And that's the biggest problem with what's happening right now. And in some ways, listen, Canada, wake up. We need to make the right decision next year when we have our election year. And the warning is the election in the US this week. We can't stand idly by and just think this. And we have to vote. The apathy of not voting is absolutely asinine and fucking suicidal in today's society. And it was shown on Tuesday this week. That's right. Jill saying the NBA stated that Raptors first beat Kings via a couple of missed crucial referee calls late in the Kings overtime loss, even when we win. Eat gads. Okay, so they're saying that we didn't actually win our game on Saturday in overtime, Vince Carter retirement game, because the refs missed some calls in our favor. Is that what they're saying in the 2-minute report? Well, fuck it. I don't care about that. Joe, you didn't even need to tell me that, honestly, because how many times does it go the other way? And if this is just an evening out of us finally getting a win in this kind of way because we get screwed over for that way, and honestly, there's a game that specifically happened with Mark Davis that this happened also. So I'll take it. And even if they're trying to degrade our win in overtime in the Vince Carter game, we still get that win. You can't take it back. And this is the same damn shit y'all told us when Mark Davis screwed us out of a win like 10 years ago. So either way, I don't care. 2-minute report, you can suck it. How about that? Randolph saying, Lex, have you noticed how we had another big man injury to one of our guys again? I think the referees need to make fouls on these kind of hits. Yeah, those rough picks. I'm telling you, this is something the NBA is going to have to study a little bit more deeply. Let's see. Blackhawk saying Battle has to work on not fouling as much. Yeah, he's flailing around and scrambling on defense in a couple of different ways. Some of it's inexperience. Some of it's just being more comfortable and not so jittery. But I think overall, the things that Battle's doing out there are very good. But out of all the rookies, he's shown the most rookie mistakes in recent games, as far as like, oh, that's a missed assignment. Oh, that is not probably what you want to do. That kind of stuff. But he's going to get better and better. And it's great that he's getting so much experience right now. Stargate saying Paulo seems to have the same injury as Scotty. Really? Are you sure? He got hit in the face? I'm not sure if that's true. I think Paulo got a shoulder or arm injury. Scotty got hit in the face, and it's a facial injury. So I'm not totally sure if that's exactly true. Carlos saying Paulo has a face injury? I don't think it is. I thought it was a shoulder injury that Paulo had. G saying I thought it was his oblique. It's his oblique. Regardless, he may be out for weeks too. He's out longer. He's actually out longer than Scotty. He's going to be out almost 6 weeks, and now it's like Scotty's only out for 2 weeks now. So, yeah, this is a big deal. And apparently the Magic are really bad without Banchero out there right now. So they're ripe for the picking in some ways without their young all-star. Yeah, Matt's saying, as much as I agree in terms of injuries with such an insanely packed schedule, it will be hard to put our full strength squad many times in the season. Unfortunately, injuries can't be an excuse. Yeah, but they are too in the same way. They're an excuse for, well, our record wasn't so good and we got a high draft pick. I mean, that's the way it can be excused. But if we were getting to a point where we're going to be a team that's going to compete at a high level and we want to win with no excuses, yeah, we'll start saying stuff like that. Next man up. I don't care if Scotty was out. We had Emmanuel and RJ and Jakob in these games, even if we're missing one guy. Yeah, I can get behind that, but all in due time, not at this point in the journey. It's too early starting out in it. But later on, when we're a more capable team that is supposed to be winning all the time, yeah, I'll say injuries can't be an excuse for why we're losing. But it can't be yet, Matt. We got to wait. Kareem saying it is an oblique injury. Now, Kareem, being somebody who has a physiotherapy kind of background, he probably would know exactly how that kind of stuff is happening. Cowboys saying, how much is a 905 ticket? I think it's really affordable. It's definitely a lot like the Raptors tickets. I'll bet you it's like $20. I bet you it's hardly anything. You know, there may even be like $5 or $10 tickets. I'll bet. You know, somebody who's gone to the 905 game probably could answer this better. But I don't see us paying too much for these tickets. No, I'm not worried about it. And as I said, if somebody makes the effort and they're really worried about not being able to pay, well, this is the side of me, the left wing side of me that's benevolent and saying, I will buy your ticket for you because I'm a giving humanitarian, unlike the right wing side. So we're going to see. We'll see. I'll do that. Like if you're worried about paying, Cowboy, I'll pay for your ticket. I don't mind doing that. I've done these kind of things for people in the past, taking them to Raptors games and paid Raptors tickets just to get people into the Raptors. So I'll do my part. That's right. Stargate saying, Carlo, hang on, it jumped right when I was going to read it. That's kind of annoying. Laugh out loud at Cowboy. A friend of mine produced that song. Oh wait, hang on. That's not the right comment. That was too far down. Um, Hang on. Where is it? Holy crap. Oh, you guys filled it up a bit. There's Monique's cut off. Okay. Oh yeah, there's Cool Cat. I haven't even seen her yet. So I went way too far. Okay, there it is. Carlo. Oh, is it an abdomen injury? I thought it was. I saw somewhere it was a face injury. Okay, I stand corrected. No, it's a different injury because I know that the timeline with Paulo was always longer than Scott's, and he got it. He got hurt after Scott got hurt too. Thank you for getting the classic card of the day, Rudy Gobert, old COVID starter. He started the fire of COVID in the world today. Yeah, let's see. Randolph saying, "My condolences to you, Seymour, on the home going of your friend. Draw strength from the good memories you both shared. Today is 2 years I lost my mom. Memories do help you heal. In the memory of your mother, Randolph. I hate hearing. I hope that you get good solace and condolences still for your mother and Seymour's friend still. Yeah, I mean that is tough still, even if it's a couple years since. It can still be tough to deal with the loss of a very, very close loved one. Yeah, Leo still has not put a life tip up yet, so we'll just keep going. Infamous saying, "Let me give you evidence of when Yak was playing with the Spurs. He never fouled out of a game, and he was playing with a young team at that time." Yeah, he fouled out out of two different games recently, two in a row actually. I don't know. In some ways, we can't totally look at it that way because you know what? I'm going to tell you the truth. Popovich had them playing in a tank mode where they weren't supposed to be aggressive. Like the last year Pirtle played for Pop in San Antonio, he very much was telling them just let people go to the basket because they were tanking for Wemby. So that's part of why is that in those years that Jakob was there, in some ways Popovich was teaching them to not be aggressive on defense and not try and foul or anything. So that would make sense why he didn't really foul out in San Antonio because that was the mode that the coach was telling them to go into. Very, very weird. Kareem saying, my comment keeps getting deleted, so I'll try something different in reverse. C scare DNA. Oh, are these backwards? Hip his breaks and down falls owner Queens. I hope the okay, so you went backwards from all the way to the end. I hope the Sacramento Queens owner falls down and breaks his hip. I feel like I'm like that kid on Christmas Story with the decoder ring in the bathroom trying to find out what the Lone Ranger is trying to tell him. Reading that. Okay, yeah, you brought up something that I was going to bring up. I do have a tab for this that I was going to talk about. The owner of the Kings, I forget what his name is. Vivek Ranadive is his name. He was wearing a sweatshirt at the side of the game last night saying they not like us, doubling down on Kendrick Lamar's song and DeMar DeRozan's appearance in it, and in some ways trying to make a statement about us. Now, the funny thing is he's sitting next to Percy Miller when he's wearing this shirt. Master P, who was like us because he was a Raptor, and he has ties to our franchise out of all of them. He's sitting with Percy Miller wearing that shirt. Now, a lot of people are skewering the hell out of him on Twitter right now. It's hilarious. They're saying, yeah, we're glad we're not like you. You look like a decrepit old crypt keeper man. Seriously. In some ways, he's not cool. He's not cool showing up and sitting there. Is he trying to be cool? Is he trying to inspire like division? In some ways, that's not what we need this week. We need to try and come together and try and work through the things that are going on right now. And him wearing that shirt, it just doesn't help anything. I don't know if he thinks he's cool for wearing it. I don't know if he thinks he's hip with the kids or something like that, but man, you are not cool wearing it. And a lot of the Raptors fans are coming in and saying, thank God we're not like you, bro. They're like, thank God I'm not like you. I liked the Kings owner up until like that. And I'm like, why are you doing this, bro? I kind of liked you, bro, because you're kind of forward thinking. I mean, you are putting your family in positions of power around the team that they're not qualified for. So there's a little bit of weird stuff going on there. But yeah, this is so weird. In some ways, it's laughable. And I've just kind of looked past it. So they were not letting you comment on this, Kareem. That's weird. That's so weird. Blackhawks saying rookies naturally foul because they don't know the vets and sophomores. Within 2 to 3 years, the rooks will be better based upon experience they pick up. I think this is totally true what Neil's saying. In some ways, this is the other thing that happens in the league that the rookies find out is some of the vets know how to make you foul them. You don't even try to. Like there's certain ways you come up with your arms. Like you can come up and that's a foul. And there's certain ways like some of the refs, some of the veterans will actually grab your jersey and then fall and make it look like you push them. And the refs will call that too. So there's dirty cheating kind of plays where some vets know how to draw fouls on certain players, especially if they're young and green and don't know the league very well yet. They can like victimize young players this way, where they'll fake a foul and get them a foul just all of a sudden, and they'll be like, "Hey, wait, I didn't do that. He did that," and they're like laughing because they're like, "Ha ha ha! Yeah, you got a foul called on you, and I totally controlled that and made that happen." That's something that some of the young players have to learn is some of the players will do that. DeMar does it in an ethical way. He knows that if he brings his arm up a certain way and making his motion to start going to the basket, he can get foul calls if they hit him on the arm a certain way. And he'll bait it and he'll leave it open just to try and do that. So this is totally par for the course. And Neil is exactly right. Derps is here, man. So when is Walter Mobo, et cetera, going to go to the G League? Laugh out loud. Will it definitely be after this road trip since they're not going to fly them back early? Now, if they're hurt and they can't play in the games this weekend or in Milwaukee, maybe they go back to Toronto early, but it may be better for them to just travel with them. I don't know. They had to assess the injuries and see how severe they are. It could be helpful for them to come off the road and come back and start rehabilitating here instead of finishing out the road trip with the Raptors. But that could mean that all of a sudden DJ Carton and somebody else that wasn't with the team on this road trip are flying out to replace them to make sure we have enough bodies to play the games. So we'll have to see. We're going to have to learn the news about the early prognostications about the injuries to Mobo and Walter from last night's game. And we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Derps, good to see you this morning, man. Cowboys saying, Sheriff, this song is for you, man. The Man in Black, Johnny Cash. Yeah, man, Johnny Cash is awesome, man. And Johnny Cash was very much somebody who did not go along with the powers that be. He was definitely an outlaw in the right kind of way for the underdog, the little guy, and looking out for people. Yeah, Johnny Cash would do Sesame Street, and Johnny Cash would also was a very like big humanitarian for animals and stuff like that. So yeah, he is a good dude. I like Johnny Cash. He's a legend. That's right. Carlos saying, yeah, 17 million voters stayed home. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm really disappointed. It's like you guys are stupid. You didn't realize this. And the other thing that we're realizing is a lot of the talk by the younger generations that they were going to show up in full force to help Kamala. Well, they didn't show up. Like the kids that are the youngest that said we're going to come out in full effect. Well, some of them may have forgot, or maybe their attention deficit disorder screwed them up, or something like that. Yeah, really, really bad execution of getting people to polls. Now, also, I don't know how shady it was that in Georgia was so close, and if they're the Russians and the right wing are calling in bomb threats to the predominantly black communities in Georgia, which could absolutely swing that state in particular, you can see how dirty things were in play to manipulate this outcome to get to this point. You're scaring black people out of a long ass line in Georgia and they're going home instead of voting. Yeah, that could shave some that is really dirty. It's so dirty. It's not like this is a clean win. There's a lot of dirtiness that's built up into what happened. And a lot of it was all the misinformation and the manipulation of social media with just really lies and bullshit. Seriously, it's crazy. It's crazy. Blackhawks saying Democrats didn't show up because many of them have the same beliefs as Republicans. They're just closet Republicans. I think that part of it is like misogyny, like not really wanting to vote for a woman. I mean, in some things, I thought that she was a better candidate than Hillary. Hillary has a lot of baggage and a lot of problems. Some of it is cockiness. I mean, it could very well be like I thought that we were going to win in a landslide, that some people thought, well, that she doesn't need my vote. It's obvious that she's going to beat him. That's what we thought in 2016. We made that mistake. No, you got to do it and go through the process and exercise your right to vote. Who was lazy on election day and didn't do it because they thought, oh, Kamala's just going to win. Well, you are partly responsible for this nightmare that's been created now. So it's part of it right there. It's really, really part of it right there. Cool Cat's here. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. My heart is broken over US elections. I'm just so disappointed. And in some ways, I'm like really thankful that I live in Canada, although we don't need to be like them and mirroring what they did down there. Seriously, it's this country's better than this. And in some ways, we need to make sure it happens. Now, I have no trust in the systems anymore. Like in some ways, I don't totally trust how Doug Ford won Ontario in the last provincial election, that it was totally on the up and up. And in some ways, I don't totally trust what happened this Tuesday also. And in some ways, if we have a federal election next year, Canadians need to learn the lessons of this week and not fuck around and make sure they vote, because in some ways there's some shady shit going on and we need to be vigilant to protect our freedoms up here too. Like, do you care about having public health care? Because we need to vote next year. If you don't care about that and you're like, I don't care about public health care, I don't care about having access to hospitals and stuff like that, well, there's going to be some issue you're going to care about. And in some ways, we got to watch out next year. I fear for my country, Canada elections. Well, we have time to get organized and be educated, more educated. We have a better education system in Canada. And hopefully we have a higher IQ overall than the jabronis down south. That's what I'll say right now. Carlos saying, Trump's election guy tweeted that dehumanization program is turbocharged scary times for immigrants. Yeah, I don't know how much Biden can do in the last couple months of his presidency to try and stop or save some of the things. But yeah, we're going to see some history repeating itself, and it's going to be really ugly. Now, I'm wondering who the hell is going to be the United States going to save Nazi Germany in the way that's going things right now. That's the problem, is because in some ways the United States is the paramount premium world power in this world, and arms wise. But there's no country out there that's going to come and like destroy Trump as being Hitler like we did in that way. That's the thing that's scary, is that in some ways, who is going to help save democracy if democracy is not being saved by the government of the United States itself? That is the scariest shit right there. Now, the people inside, the government officials, that honestly, he's already said he's going to fire, and anybody who doesn't agree with him, he's going to kick out. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. Well, there needs to be resistance towards him in the country, and people got to batten down the hatches and do that, because nobody else is going to do it. Nobody else is going to do it, man. Nobody else is going to do it. Cowboy saying, "Love you, Lex." But I can't. You can't divide people cause over politics. Yeah, I can, because. And you're a father. You have children. You have daughters, right? You have girls at some point. I don't see how anybody could be on that side of the political spectrum when you're a father and you have children that are girls. Like, if you have young people that are you have a future. I don't have kids. In some ways, that makes me breathe easier. In some ways, that I'm not leaving somebody in this fucked up world that's getting worse and worse. Bradley, you're not understanding what I'm saying to you. The corporations are owning the whole entire world more and more, and the right wing side is the side that's working for them. And you don't get it twisted. They're going to raise our taxes, and they're going to keep giving corporate tax breaks to the very huge corporations. You want to know why prices are high? It's because of enabling the corporations to price fix things. So when politicians like Kamala Harris and Justin Trudeau talk about fixing prices and monopolies and breaking up big, huge corporations, buying up all the companies so there's no competition for prices, that is why those companies pay so much money to fool you into making you vote for their side. And that's the thing. Prices are going to go down because of what the Americans did this week. No, they're going to go up. In fact, Trump has rose the deficit during his presidency higher than any president in the history of the United States. And prices are going to go through the roof. In fact, the other thing that that side doesn't understand is everything happens in a delay. Like, all of the good things that happened at the beginning of Trump's presidency was because of Obama and what he did in his presidency to fix the economy after W. Bush. And what basically Trump inherited a really good economy, so he looked good, and he left a shitty one for Biden. And Biden cleaned it up. And honestly, Biden's economy is actually way stronger, and they lied to that whole entire thing about the economy is Biden's fault and all this stuff. Actually, the parameters of the economy were very strong and showing a lot of good growth. Now, they will maybe come in a delay and they'll start showing up at the beginning of Trump's. And then all the dumb people will be thinking is Trump's the reason why, when it was actually, it's the delay. So that's part of the problem. This dude makes huge messes. The guy has to come in and clean it up, and then it's cleaned up, and then he comes in and things are better, and then he looks like he did something good. Nah, see, you got to understand, man, you're getting duped in certain ways by people that are paying for you to think the way that you're thinking. And you can think that I'm the one who's stuck in the machine and part of the establishment and not getting it. But I'm not. I'm the free thinker. I'm the one who can see it from all the outside and understand exactly what the racket is. Because they're not going to fool me. I understand who the enemy is. It's the big, huge corporations. It's the ultra rich, and they're paying the right wing propaganda. Why do you think there's so many Paul Revere videos and commercials everywhere? Why do you think there's so much right wing bullshit on social media? Why do you think there's so many like podcasters that are getting paid and stuff? Because there's a very, very rich billionaires out there paying for all this stuff to be out here to shape general opinions and ideas. They have paid a lot of money for you to hate Trudeau. And it's so sad that you just fall for it. I mean, I get it. Blackface is ugly. You know, not condemning the genocide in Palestine for Kamala Harris is bad. But man, you don't understand how much money is actually being spent to shape your mind. And I'm not letting money shape my mind. Money doesn't rule my world, but in other people's worlds, it does. And that's part of it right there. G saying, I read that a lot of Democrats felt insulted that she was appointed and they didn't go through the proper process. So they stayed home. That's bullshit. And you know what? That was a narrative that was put out by the right wing media machine to say, oh, she shouldn't even be there because she just got annoyed at it. No, in this case, because of what happened with Biden, it's a special case and it made the most sense. And in some ways, they really wanted to sow discontent about it. And well, some people that want to go on that line of thinking, you're idiots. Because just as much of what I just said to Bradley, you fell for it too on my side. Oh, you fell for them complaining, oh, she didn't deserve it. She didn't go through the right process to get the nomination. Well, in unexpected events, in emergency situations, you do things correctly and quickly in the right way. And she was the next person in line, obviously, because she's the vice president. Yeah, anybody who didn't vote because of that, you're an idiot. And you will get the stupid ass things that happen with all of us, partly you're to blame. Honestly, that's crazy. Anybody who didn't vote for her because of that reasoning, you were duped by right wing stupid talk in other places that made you, yeah, that's right. She didn't actually earn this ability or right to be the presidential nominee correctly. That was them telling you to think that way from the other side. And you dummies will leave them. That's what I say to the Democrats that thought that way. Blackhawk saying U.S. elections muddled the waters by attacking trans and immigrants. Closet Republicans stayed away. Stayed away. Yeah, I mean, they're boogeymen. They're just like Jewish people in Nazi Germany like 100 years ago. They're the boogeymen. They're the ones that people are supposed to be so afraid of. And when you dehumanize one group of people, it's easy for you to control other people because they get in line and all this kind of stuff, and they get involved in it. It's really fucked up in some ways. It's really, really fucked up. And it is going to be what's going to be, man. I mean, we're going to see what happens. You know, the one thing I will say is everything has a natural equilibrium and balance. In some ways, well, if the pendulum swings, Trump, Biden, back to Trump, you know, it's going to come back the other way. It could be that there are a lot of tough, sad, harrowing lessons for the United States in the next 4 years. But I'll bet you money if that dude allows a free election that's going to happen, well, he's going to get his ass stomped. Or if he can't run again, right? He can't. Or they're saying this. He's going to get rid of term limits, get rid of the rule that you can't be a president more than twice. And Obama might jump in the ring and rerun for president again against him just to fuck him up. Because we know Obama would fuck up Trump so bad in election. Seriously. Unless they skewer him and sewer him in the social media realm once again like that. See, that's a big, big part of what happened is social media is shaping so much in politics right now. And there's the problem is one side's lying through their teeth and they have no problem doing it. And the other side's trying to be credible and they're not being dirty. Meanwhile, the other side's so dirty and so wrong that they gain an advantage from that, just from the confusion and the misinformation. It's really, really crazy. Yeah, let's see. Mo's saying W stream, W vibes, go Raptors for life. I'm right at my cutoff right now, so I should just go ahead and log off right now. I should just log off on my channel right now, and no more comments, guys. Sorry, Monique has given me the cutoff, and I'm right at 2 hours. Keep at it always, despite the outcome. Rapper Freak crew, strong forever. Limited comments for Lex. Just a reminder. That's right. I like that. Let me see. Is there anything else worth saying right here? I don't know. Maybe there isn't. Is it almost all about politics? Because if it is, I won't do it. Hey, Gray Squirrel. It's on my porch looking around for stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I will just cut off just because of Monique. Monique's the producer and she's saying that. Nah, you know what? There's enough of you guys that are writing different stuff right there. I'll keep going real quick. Let's see. I'm gonna skip some of these comments. Cowboys saying, "Let's grow, Raptor freaks. Let's grow the team. Yeah, let's get the players even better." G saying, "We can't keep saying excuses and not listen to people." I read many comments saying they felt insulted and they seemed genuine, regardless. Just stating what I've read. Well, in some ways, they were telling people to be insulted about this or that. In some ways, there's a lot of sides that, like, the one issue they were using very effectively was the war on the Palestinians. There's some people that are just really, really against genocide, and they false equivalency that Kamala was just as bad as Trump because she didn't denounce Israel's genocide of the Palestinian people. Whereas, like, Trump's just as bad as that, if not worse. And so if you're really trying to help the Palestinian people, you should have voted for Kamala. Not voting because they're both bad on that one issue is really stupid because honestly, Trump has already said he wants the annihilation of Palestine. And, at least in a Democratic presidency, there would have been some people working with her to stop arming Israel with the bombs. It's so crazy. Like, the logic is so dumb. It's like you cut your nose off to spite your face. And I honestly, I can blame the other side for being stupid and low intelligence, but also the people on my side are too prideful and too dumb with, like, their logic about, well, I have morals, or I'm going to vote for Jill Stein because I can't stand either one of them. Once again, they got influenced by the other side saying both candidates stink, when there's a false equivalency there. And this is something I've talked about on my channel before. The idea of equalizing the Democrats and the Republicans as just being the same is a ploy by that side to give apathy like MSJ and not vote. And that's the problem. That's the problem right there. Jill's saying, Lex, I just have one comment. There are 20 million votes missing. Some swing states voted extremely blue, yet somehow Trump got those votes. Fishy. Well, I'm telling you, there's probably is a whole bunch of fishy shit that happened that allowed for this outcome. I don't totally trust the electoral process, and it's not for the reasons that Trump didn't trust it. I don't trust the press. First of all, the mainstream media is compromised as far as how they report the election results. And, this is stuff coming out. I mean, listen, the one people I do trust are the election people that are supposed to be overseeing it and watching to make sure that people do things correctly and right. And in some ways, if there's an audit and there are a whole amount of batch of votes that are just not counted and missing, and they find them, well, hopefully due process and justice is served in this. And it could be really messy and crazy. And it could be like the other side saying, oh, well, you said that we were wrong with this. But if there's actually is election fraud in this election, then there wasn't in 2020. They went through and looked at everything like 10 times over, and everything was on the up and up in Biden's victory. If there is actually election fraud, if they dig deeper and they find some of this stuff, well, I want to believe that the just process will happen. But the idiot gets his foot in the door and he gets immunity for himself with Supreme Court, and he's running the everything. He's just going to squash it like a dictator, even if the truth is something like what Jill's saying. So I don't know. We're gonna have to see, man. We're gonna have to see. Emma is saying, back to basketball. When will quickly be back? We were talking about this earlier. I'm gonna speculate he'll come back for one of the two LA games, not play for both of them, and he'll be ready for the Tuesday game for the in-season tournament in Milwaukee. So that's what I'm hoping the schedule is. We'll have to see. There's no true anything on anything. Jamaica, I love Jamaica. Jamaica's a great country. Let's see. Cowboys saying it's not about politics. It's about loving people, not color. Okay. Yeah. I mean, when one side starts saying it's like we're colorblind and all this kind of stuff, I think that's disingenuous because honestly, they're the ones that are doing racially profiled legislation and policies and their own businesses behind the back. They'll say, oh, it's not about color. And then meanwhile, they're being discriminatory and racist in their private lives. So yeah, you go ahead and say that, Cowboy. You go ahead and say that. Derps is saying Darko is phenomenal in development. I keep forgetting in the fourth quarters, Raps don't even have 5 vets healthy to close it out. So yeah, painful to watch at times. Yeah, I think Darko's been doing an exceptional job. The win-loss record, casuals will look at that and be like, oh, he sucks, he's horrible. But these are people that are very surface level spectators for what the Raptors are doing. They may just look at the newspaper in the morning. They're not actually watching the games. They could also be people that are kind of like Leaf fans first. They're kind of like negative about losing in any kind of way. But they got to understand that we're at the beginning of our rebuilding journey and that this is just natural. What's happening right now? Cowboys got Mo on blast. Infamous saying, congrats. Happy you're getting a new wheelchair. Is there a PayPal that I can send something? There's a GoFundMe page, Infamous. And we put it up here a few times. I don't know if it's still open. Mo might have closed it because she reached her goal. And it's really awesome, once again, that MLSC stepping up and helping out with this cause. Kareem saying, I love stupid people. It's a good measuring stick to seek brilliance. I just feel like people are not critically thinking for themselves. There's so much stuff that if you really just think about the logistics and the logics of it, you would understand it if you would Windurst it. And one of the things really is the consolidation of power with corporatism and oligarchy with the ultra rich. And if you don't know those words, go look them up and find them out. And I mean, I'm not trying to be condescending or put down people, but this really is indicative of the failings of the school system in the United States this election this year. It's really crazy. Cool Cat saying when a team plays aggressive on defense, the refs can't call everything. Orlando Magic uses that strategy. Yeah, Nick Nurse used to use that strategy for our team too. They can't call everything, and that's why they would do the way things they used to do with Nick Nurse's traps and stuff. I mean, in some ways, that's kind of what Darko's doing right now. There's a little bit of like a lot of fouls all over the place, and that's part of the reason why our foul counts are high. Yeah, I could see that being part of it. Yeah, that's right. Let's see. Most saying you can still donate even though MLSC contributed already. There you go. Yeah, I think anything will help Monique and Jackie and whatever they're doing right now as far as like their lifestyle. It doesn't hurt to help Monique get a little bit more money. Christmas is coming up. And there's all kinds of different ways that it could be very beneficial and helpful to Monique. So just even though she's gotten her goal and on her GoFundMe page, any donations are welcome because honestly, in some ways, Jackie and Mo, having support from people is just very helpful and gives them a little breathing room in their lives. And that's why I would say that. Yeah. Stargate saying if the league has a vested and invested and not having the Raptors too successful, they will manipulate everything they have the control of to achieve this. Yeah, the schedule, the marketing. I went in on a rookie rankings on Facebook and wrote because they didn't have any of the Raptors in the top 5 rookies for this season so far, and that's an oversight. I wrote in the comments, you guys are ignoring some excellent rookies in Toronto right now. And a guy laughed at my comment and he said, yeah, we are. Ha ha ha. Because that's what we do. That's part of it right there. It's like, we got to fight for respect and notoriety being the Raptors. And Vince Sanity is a good example of busting through there and saying, yeah, we're here. You have to pay attention because we're just that badass and interesting and amazing, like half man, half amazing. So that's part of it right there. Derps is saying Shamshay, the farmer killer instinct must be honed before someone. Derps, that's hilarious. That's a weird comment, man. It's kind of odious, kind of like foreboding. Derps, you're on here, right? Let me see. Where's Derps on here? I'm pretty sure you got a dunk before. Yeah, there you are. I'm going to give you another 5. You got the DeMar DeRozan comp 10, man. You got 10 dunks now. That's hilarious. Blackhawk saying, gee, they can say they are insulted, but the truth is, if it wasn't that excuse, they would find another. There was just way too many undecided, which is mode for OT. I don't know how to read that. Yeah, I just feel like apathy is always an enemy for the established status quo. I'm just saying that, man. Apathy is always going to help the status quo. And the status quo is the oligarchical system of the ultra rich just buying politics and governance at this point. It's not like we get a say in what's happening in our politics anymore if it's bought and paid for by people like Elon Musk. And that's what I have a big problem with this. This is the scariest thing about all this. with social media manipulation of the press and social media. And then, basically people buying politics. That's what's happening right now. The amount of money that was put behind Trump to make sure he won was crazy. And the crazy thing is, the money's coming from one percenters like the Dallas Mavericks owner and Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. And then there's a lot of dark money coming from Putin. Like, in some ways, Trump winning was a victory for Russia. And that's crazy because the so many of the people that are in the Bible Belt hate Russia, and they're like so American and stuff like that. Some of them are actually brainwashed to like Russia at this point by right-wing talking points on Fox News and different places. Whereas that when they were like in the 80s following Reagan, they absolutely were trained to hate the Russians. And basically, Trump is a Manchurian candidate for Putin. And in some ways, they get exactly what they want when Trump wins this election: confusion and chaos in the United States. And the United States is weakened as a place. Trump weakens that country, and he makes them more of a bitch for Putin and Russia. God forbid what's going to happen with Ukraine now, because in some ways, in the next 4 years, the support for Ukraine from the United States is not going to be there. And it could very well be that Putin wins this war in Ukraine now because of this election this week. And he gets emboldened to try and annex and take more parts of Europe. That's what I'm saying. A vote for Trump this week was a vote for dictators. And Putin is so happy. He put a lot of energy through bots and trolls and fake stuff going on in our social media to manipulate. In some ways, the victory of Trump is a victory for Putin, as far as like, I can manipulate the United States so well and easy now because of computers, because of the internet, and because of social media. Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And the people don't understand that this is part of the force that is why this happened. Well, you are dupes. Seriously, you don't understand how much Russia is influencing our elections at this point because of online. It's crazy. It's so bad. There's so many bots out there that manufacture and make it look like things are a certain way in certain ways. Yeah, family. Okay, family. Code for not her. Okay, it was just code for not her. Yeah, either way, I'm not shocked by how much America hates women. Let's just put it that way. I'm not shocked by this. NBA Quick Takes saying, enough respect, Raptor Freaks. Back at you, Quick Takes. Y'all give a follow to NBA Quick Takes, another great YouTube channel covering basketball and the Raptors specifically. Great content coming out on that channel all the time, guys. Blackhawks saying, old white men's club, and we have non-white men propping them up. Yeah, it's sad because I did see the breakdowns on the percentages, and white people did vote for Trump more than they voted for Kamala. And then when it gets around on that, not only do people hate women, they hate minorities. Obviously, there's a lot of closet racist white people down there that couldn't bring themselves to vote for a woman of color. In some ways, that's part of the action too that happened on here, and that motivated also the other side. They're like, I can't be ruled by a woman or a black person. Oh my gosh. God forbid. So that's going to make them really come out. Meanwhile, they're apathizing the other side to say, oh, but she's supporting the war on in Israel and all this kind of stuff. You should hate her for that. See, there's so much bot like misinformation out there shaping minds. I'm trying to tell you guys, you got to understand this stuff that's going on right now. Stargate saying, laugh out loud, cowboy. A friend of mine produced that song. Derps. What's that? Inchworm? Kareem saying, America will elect a convicted felon over a woman. I hope AOC runs for the Democrats in 4 years. No, I don't. I've said this. I said, I don't think we should ever nominate a woman again, because obviously America is not mature enough to actually look at a woman as a viable leader for their country. It's sad but true. It's misogyny and sexism. And no, I think the Democrats have made mistakes twice by nominating a woman. And I don't mean to sound like a jerk or a sexist. This is just a damn reality that America hates women. And putting a nominee that's female in front is not smart in the future, especially since we're going to go into black ages again for a few years because of the Supreme Court and Trump getting another candidate presidency. We're not going to be ready for a female candidate then. Seriously, that's like just shooting yourself in the foot at this point. It's not smart strategy at all, is what I'm seeing right there. It's not smart strategy. You want the Farmers app? I can do that one for you, cowboy. I'll do the Farmer's app real quick. Let's go look at what the old Farmer's Almanac is saying this morning for what we should do. Today is the best day to harvest above ground crops or set posts or pour concrete. There you go. It's a good day for laying concrete, cowboy. There you go. All right, let's see. Let's go Raptors. And there's Mo's GoFundMe page. That's the link right there in the chat, guys. And there's the cutoff. Stargate saying Vince was also an All-American volleyball player. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. And he was in band. He was a saxophone player in the band. Blackhawk saying you reach your goal, Mo. That's right. You can. I think you can still donate through that page, though. Jill's saying, I believe that the bad Dems that G refers to are a far left vortex. They have yet to learn to work with us. So return to basketball. I'm hungry. Happy 11 a.m. Yeah, I mean, I'm very left. Trust me, I'm very, very leftist, but I'm also intelligent, and I can understand when being so far left is not smart. There's only two candidates in the election, and you got to pick the better of the two. And if you sit out, or if you just say, "Well, I'm not going to vote because I'm so hardline, I don't like either of them. I want better candidates," you're an idiot, is what I say. You got to vote for with what they've got in front of you. I'm sorry. In some ways, I was just as pissed when Bernie got railroaded out of the 2016 election, and honestly, he would have kicked Trump's ass. But that the Democratic fucking convention, they wanted Hillary, and they shoved her down our throats. That is sure, I can identify with all this, but I can also logically say, this is stupid if you do not vote because you're so hardline in the left like that. So I actually identify with that side, but I'm smart enough to still vote and not be like the extreme left people are like, oh, this is just my principles and stuff. Like, you fucking idiots. I'm sorry, get over yourself. I can get mad at them too. Trust me. In this week, I really can. Blackhawk saying, I want to be a micro farmer. I just have to learn how to keep a plant alive. Yeah, I'm getting lots of training on this out here now. I'm going to get better and better. Micro farming is smart, Blackhawk. Do it. Yeah, you can do it in the city. Do it like there's all kinds of hydroponic kind of systems you can have in your apartment. You don't even need to have a yard. Like it's amazing what David does at Peter's place on a balcony, so many stories up with no soil, how much he grows. Like it's such a high altitude. I was like wondering the wind and different things would mess him up but no, he's growing blueberries and all kinds of different stuff up there. It's amazing what David's able to do on a balcony, like 30 floors up in Liberty Village. It's absolutely crazy. It's so crazy. Art by Nails Studio saying you are a part Estonian. Nice. Respect. Go Baltics. I'm a media producer from To The Point. Awesome. You're the dude. You're the Lithuanian guy that helps Brian with his stuff. So you've edited episode with me recently. Very, very cool. I've seen you appear on the show also. You have great basketball knowledge, and I appreciate you being here today, man. Hope you enjoy the content. Arturas, that's right. I remember your name. Yeah, I do not think JV will make softer screens. No, I don't. I don't either. No, he's been in the league for too long, and in some ways, he's earned them from the long, long years. No, I love Valanciunas. He's one of my favorite Raptors of all time. He's just such a big kid. He's just such a fun personality. And I know that he's probably going to be moved from Washington at some point this season. He's just too valuable a commodity on that contract, being paid like only 10 million this year. That it's just too attractive. I could see him being a Laker by the end of the season, if not some other team. Hopefully some other team, because I don't really want him on the Lakers. But I could see him getting out of Washington pretty soon. But yeah, respect Arturas. Awesome. I'm going to remember that you're Art by Nulls. Nullis. Art by Nullis. Okay. Very, very cool. And I thought at first when I read your name, you were like a nail studio. Like nails. You're doing Art by Nails or something. But I just read that's Nullis. And now it makes sense. You're a studio that helps produce stuff. Honestly, you know what? If I was going to do non-live stream stuff, I would definitely hit you up in the way that Brian does to help out with kind of formatting and doing stuff for content. This is maybe fortuitous that Arturas is here today. Baltic Brothers stand united. That's right. And especially with the bullshit where I was just talking about, with Putin's more emboldened to go east or west into Ukraine. Yeah, our countries, we need to be ready also. We need to be ready also. See, this is part of it, man. This is why I'm so mad about this election. I'm worried about my homeland over in the Baltic countries, Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia. We have a history of Russian fuckery, and we don't want any more Russian fuckery and emboldenedness because of the election down in the States. That's right, man. Such respect, man. I'm gonna give you a big another dunk, man. And such great work you do for the to the my guy. All right, I'm gonna give you a 10 pointer. So you got the Vince Carter 15, man. You got that Vince Carter 15 on your first day in, man. Awesome. Cream Sand at Blackhawk. I actually dig coins into my money tree. Now I haven't reaped any vast amounts of money yet, but the plant is growing vigorously. See, this is like stupid genius stuff. This is like stupid genius stuff, but I love this. This is so weird. Adriana's dad has a money tree, and it's such an interesting plant. It's like out in the front window of her place. It wasn't doing very well recently, but it's looking better now. The money tree over at her house. Let's see. Jill's saying drink water time. Okay, thank you. Yeah, this should be a part of the show. Every show. Yeah, yeah, and I do drink water better than that guy. That's right. You guys said that one time. Fiercely saying Raptors an upcoming Toronto WNBA team. High five, you guys! Tomorrow, the Friday Freakout is going to be very interesting. So please join me tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. I'm gonna freak out on a subject, and it's not going to be politics, guys. I know I haven't talked a lot about politics today, and I know it turns off some people. But some people also very much value my political views and me just espousing on them also. But yeah, tomorrow, Friday freak out, and it's going to have to do with our WNBA team, guys. So we got a day off, 2 days off in a row. Hopefully the guys are going to practice around LA in the next couple days and not do the nightlife. And tomorrow I'm going to be freaking out, and we're going to be more centric around WNBA issues tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow and see what Lex is freaking out about with the WNBA team. That's right. Cowboys saying that's Kareem. I got a loony under mine. There you go. Does that actually help? Is it like kind of like the metal of the coin or something like actually adds nutrients or like vitamins to the plant? I mean, I could see that being true. Seriously. I mean, anything in nature is unbelievable and amazing. Honestly, I could see that being true. Kareem saying, does the Toronto WNBA team have a name yet, or have they not decided and will have to roll with Toronto Basketball Club? Well, this is what you got to tune in tomorrow because I have the answers to those questions, but I don't want to tell you what they are until tomorrow. So that's the cliffhanger. If you want to know the answers to what Kareem's saying here, I actually have them, and I'm going to go off and tell you about them tomorrow. It's going to be awesome. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be cool. When is that eye candy? I don't know. It could be any time. Tobias in the house. Good to see Ivan in the house. Hope you're doing well today, Ivan. Good to see you here. Let's see. It jumped ahead. Let me make sure I don't miss anything. Oh, Chris comes here too. Very, very cool. Yeah, you guys need to you guys need to not continue to comment. You got to respect Monique's cutoffs, and she's cut off like 2 or 3 times. You got to stop. Jill, I love that you're here, but please, let's do that. Let's do that, please. Let's cut it off. No, no, no. Okay, it looks like there's a bunch of crap in here now, and in some ways, I may be done, guys, with talking about in a second because it looks like it's just a bunch of garbage that you guys are saying down below. All right, let's see. Derps is saying Kings and Lakers are boring to watch. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. I know we're fun to watch. I like that. Monique saying, "Stop it, Neil." Major thanks. There you go. Cowboys saying WNBA is going to be fire. I believe that too. Derp saying Raps have 15 back-to-backs. What the fuck? Another one coming up? All the teams in the league have about the same back-to-backs. Some of our back-to-backs are better than last year. Some of them are like home and home back-to-backs. I mean, this is an LA back-to-back where we don't travel. We're going to play, the Clippers and then the Lakers. And it used to be in the same building. Not anymore. Not as of this year. Kareem saying, Cowboy, you can buy a ticket for like $40 and walk down and sit courtside. Again, there's certain doors. If you don't want to pay, Kareem knows the certain doors, but we're not advertising that on our Raptors channel. No, we're not Courtney Charles because we don't want to do that. We'll pay the full price and we'll go down there. That's right. Monique has officially reached her goal. That's awesome. That's awesome. Jill saying, Lex, we should have all asked and Cowboy have a Raptors free hot pepper potluck. No alcohol, no weed party. I would pay for peppers. You'll pay for my game ticket? Thanks. Well, Jill, if you come all the way to Mississauga for December the 8th, yeah, I'll pay for you to get in. Yeah, I don't know about that get together with peppers. I really value my digestive system. I ate a hot pepper on this channel once. It was one of the hot peppers that Bradley made, the Raptor Freak pepper. And I just bit a little bit of it, and it was hot. It was crazy. It was crazy. I've eaten some weird things on this channel that I've regretted that were too crazy that I shouldn't have ate, like an onion. I once ate an onion on this show. which was absolutely bizarre when I did that. That was so weird, man. Why did I do that? Fiercely saying James Harden is very good at foul baiting. Yes, he's a good example of that. Neil's saying only problem GM is I don't eat pepper or Jill. Only problem, Jill, is I don't eat peppers or spicy food anymore. I got baby gut. I'm like that too at this point, but Tobias likes spicy food. Carlos saying, man, we need to get Jakob back up. I keep worrying, what if Jakob gets hurt? Is there a good passing big man out there? His name's Kelly Olynyk, and he just needs to get healthy. He needs to get healthy. Blackhawks saying, I thought they were hot. Kem Birch. You want Kem Birch? I want Kem Birch. Darko is Bruno's last hope. Yeah, Bruno didn't look good even at the end there. It's too bad. I'm going to time you out for that, Bradley, that one right there, because you're timed out, bro. You're timed out for the rest of the day. We're going to do 24 hours for Cowboy. And so you're not going to be able to chat for a little while, Bradley, just for that. Let's see. I am on Randolph, and he's saying, Lex, I'm sorry, bro. But the blueprint is now available and would be instantly used here in our election. That would be forced on us by those who think like the U.S. I know that's the scary thing. That's the scary. All the money that's being paid right now for Poilievre is very much funded by Galen Weston and the absolutely ultra rich. And the reason why is because they know if the other side of things gets in power, they will make them pay their fair share of taxes. And in some ways, that money will go to social programs, that'll go to the people to help them, that'll go to public health care, that'll go to public schooling. And yeah, in some ways, there's ugly, nasty, evil people here in this country that look at the example of the United States, and they're using the same playbook. So I would say everything that applies down there can apply to up here. It's just that we need to be smarter and more aware of it, and do our part to try and stop it if we can. But if we can't, and we're just going to live in a dystopian society where corporations rule everything, well, let's just go ahead and make it an honest thing and say, yeah, this is how we live. And well, it used to be nicer when it wasn't like this, but you will never know this, younger generations, because we've done a really bad job of evolving society in the right way. We've overvalued money and profits and shareholders and stock prices, stocks going up. And we haven't valued humanistic things like housing, affordable housing for people. We haven't valued the things that really help people in general. It's just a cold, dark society that's going to get worse and worse if we continue to go in this direction. That's why I say anybody who's standing with the corporations and the 1%, you are part of the problem. You can think that you're a vigilante or you're for freedom and all this kind of stuff because you hate Justin Trudeau. Well, do you understand why these people are paying so much money to have you to hate him? That's the problem right there. You look at the money trail. Who's paying for all this anti-Trudeau stuff? And why are they paying it? You got to use reason and critical thinking here. And that's the sad thing. Randolph, fortunately, I think you're right. But I want to say, I mean, life isn't like a 80s movie where the good guys win every time. In some ways, it's a dark, fucked up place where really evil, fucked up people take advantage of the vulnerable. And we're seeing more and more of that now. And it's all right in front of us. Jill's saying Fernando was supposed to be Yak's backup. That is why we need Giannis, right? We don't need Giannis. I don't want Giannis on my team. He's a bad apple at this point. I feel like he's the problem. It's not Budenholzer. It's not Adrian Griffin. It's not Glenn Rivers. It's Giannis. Giannis is the problem. And I don't need that energy around my team. No, there was a Giannis sweepstakes before. Well, maybe we dodged a bullet because we didn't get him. Honestly, that's what I'd say right there. Yeah, Fernando's supposed to be the backup, but he's supposed to be the third backup, and Kelly's supposed to be the backup. Carlos saying Bruno needs to play as if his career is on the line, because it is. That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. Blackhawk saying Giannis will cost too much. We need someone that is cheap and has potential or is competent. Yeah, we don't need Giannis here. He will cost too much. We don't need to be like the Knicks going to get Mikal Bridges. In some ways, they can't get Giannis now because of Mikal Bridges, which is hilarious. So hilarious. Jill saying perhaps Fernando's off to the G League then. Side. No, that's not in the cards. He's too far along in his career. He's what he is. It's fine. I'm not that worried about Fernando. In some ways, he's 6 fouls off the bench. He's a serviceable, experienced big that's not that good, but he's on our roster just for different reasons. He doesn't have to be perfect, guys. Sir C Cats is saying you've been fooled. I'm sorry. Let's get back to ball. I've been fooled. No, I haven't been fooled. I've taken graduate courses in social sciences, and I understand a lot about sociology, and I understand a lot about politics in this case. And you can say I'm fooled, but I'm not. I'm not, because in some ways I don't have anything to gain from any of this. And there's so many other people out there that do, and why they're doing what they're doing. So yeah, I'm for women. I'm for non-discrimination. I'm for everybody being equal. Being colorblind and all these kind of things. I'm for a lot of good things. And the things that I stand for, they don't really have anything to do with the side that won the election down south. They really don't, if you really look at it closely. Randolph saying, Lex, what you're describing is a future prophecy that will come to pass in the 666 mark of the beast, where you won't be able to buy or sell without the powerful corporation's mark of approval. Yeah. You know what? One of the things I want to talk in a whole other tangent is, and this is one of the insidious ways that I feel like they're robbing us, is the move away from paperless money. The fact that we're doing most of the stuff with tap, fact that we're not really seeing physical money in our lives anymore is very by choice, because honestly, we're more frivolous and careless with our spending when you don't have the tangible money. I've noticed when I go to fill up at the gas tank, they don't allow me to pay in cash and just give them the money anymore ahead of time. They want me to use my card, and they want me to put in a prepaid amount of like $75, $100, and they're very general. And what they say is, oh, well, we'll give you the money back if you don't fill up the whole entire $75. So if I pump in $69, they're supposed to give me back $6 on the credit. I don't trust this system completely, because in some ways the technology and the way we're going paperless and all this kind of stuff is just a new avenue for very big corporations to screw us over on, like, maybe even like 0.1 cent or 2 cents or 50 cents or like half a cent here and there, but over millions of people it adds up. So this is the scary thing about this. In some ways, I'm the kind of person that wants to get back to more of a lifestyle like my grandparents or their parents before, which is agrarian and making my own food and just getting out of the system, taking care of myself and being self-reliant, because I know they're going to continue to screw us over and make us pay a premium more and more. It's not like costs are going to go down, guys, because of this election this week. They're going to go up, because in some ways his economic policy is absolutely asinine and crazy. You deport the workers that are doing the work, and you also want to put tariffs on outside goods. Well, all that stuff gets passed down to the consumer and the individual, and they have to pay for it. So that's one of the ways that I'm scared about. It's like the hidden costs of digitizing monetary like transactions is scary. It used to be we get mad because, oh, there's a 50-cent charge if you use your debit card at the convenience store. Well, there's all kinds of hidden shit going on right now, especially when you can't see what you're doing with your money exactly because of tap and all this kind of stuff. They're stealing money from our bank accounts on the down low already, and we're not totally cognizant of it because we're lazy and we just like the convenience of everything being quick and in and out. That's the thing I'll say right there. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Blackhawk saying it's all right. GM. Oh, you guys see GM? Don't say GM. Say Jill. Just say Jill, because I'm seeing general manager, or I'm saying good morning before that. I'm just jumpy because I ate recklessly. That they are sweet now. I don't know what that means. HC saying Democrats moved way too left, and the citizens showed they need to slow their roll. Well, I can get it that trans people scare people. The whole idea of like being accepting of trans people and non-discriminatory of people who just want to be who they want to be. They've made them a boogeyman, and that scared the hell out of certain people. And they go, "Oh, no, trans people." But once again, that's fear mongering by the right, and you being used as a pawn. That's what it is right there. Like, what are the other left things that they're trying to do? I mean, Kamala Harris was a very centrist candidate. In fact, she was more center right than center left, and she even pandered to the right. It was a mistake. In some ways, some people said she should have gone more left with her campaign, and some of the people she lost that didn't come out and vote that are kind of like me would have came out and vote if she hadn't tried to play down the middle so much. So there's a lot of ways to look at this in some ways. Blackhawks saying Fernando should beg for G League time because he needs more experience. I think he's in like his fifth or sixth year, guys. It's not like he's a spring chicken or just a new guy. And I don't know if his ability to be on G League is allowed at this point in his career. He may be too much of a vet, and he's not allowed to go to G League. Jill's saying 11:30, drink water. Now who to back up Yak then? Kelly. He's got to come back from his back. He's got to come back from his back. All right, I'll take another water. All right, Chris comes saying, I'm not getting into politics because anything you say, someone will have an opposite opinion. Raps are up to 6 injured players, but I still believe in their talent. Got to remember the schedule will get better by the end of the season. Yeah, I agree with that, Criscom. And I appreciate, if you don't want to talk politics here, that's fine. Unfortunately, I am talking politics right now because there's been a big event this week, but I am going to try and tone it down and not talk about it very often. In some ways, it's just so paramount on all of our minds that we're going to talk about it. Derps is saying Raps were down 4 players, which were 78 plus million before Walter and whoever. Four players. Raps were down 4 players. Yeah. I'm not totally understanding that. Yeah, we've been down players a lot, and we down 2 more now, apparently. Let's see. Derps is saying games should still be played even if you're out of the end season. Otherwise, schedule has up to 15 back-to-backs for teams. Yeah. Yeah. And that's true. They try and balance the back-to-backs and make it fair. Some of them may be more unfair with travel distance between the 2 back-to-back games. There were some unfair ones we had last year. I think it's really crazy that we have a back-to-back New Year's Eve into New Year's Day. That's the craziest back-to-back I've seen kind of in some ways for the Raptors in their history. Normally, they don't even like to let you play on New Year's or New Year's Day, and they allow people to have a celebration. But our young Raptors won't get a New Year's this year. They're going to be on a plane coming back from Boston and coming to get ready to play against Brooklyn on New Year's Day. That's a crazy back-to-back, isn't it? It's crazy. Most saying the GoFundMe's still open. Sir Cats is saying CNN talking points, please stop. I don't watch CNN. This is nothing. In fact, I don't trust CNN at all. I don't listen to CNN. I don't listen to Fox. I don't listen to MSNBC. I don't watch any mainstream media. I don't watch the CBC. I don't watch CTV. I read articles online myself, and I critically think through them. I look at them. There's certain channels that I do watch for political information, like Bo of the Fifth Column, which was better when Bo was there. In some ways, I'm for stepping down and taking a break in such an important political time just because he was burned out. Because he could have been very helpful in the direction and instruction and guidance in this stretch run on this election. And Bo, the Fifth Column, stepping out was really bad. His wife is admirably trying to do the job, but she just doesn't hit the same way. In some ways, she's not very good at getting across points and sarcasm because of the inflection of her voice. And yeah, it's too bad. It's too bad that he had to step out. In some ways, I don't totally trust that. Like, I'm wondering about why he's burnt out and why he stepped aside and why he was replaced all of a sudden, because he was one of the best independent political news sources out there. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, no, I'm not a CNN person. I have not watched CNN in forever. I have these opinions because these are intellectual opinions that are just and like they're well thought out and understood. I listen to people like Robert Reich, yeah, because he's an economist and he's somebody who understands politics very, very well. And he also is willing to speak out like Bernie Sanders about exactly what the ultra rich are doing right now. No, CNN's actually a tool for them right now. I don't trust them at all, and I wouldn't listen to them. It's kind of funny that you think I'm saying CNN talking points because they are not that in the least. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm say. Let's see. The left owns all media in the US. No, that's not true. That's absolutely not true. Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post. Rupert Murdoch owns Fox News and many newspapers. It's not the case anymore. There may have been a left-leaning stance in political coverage by the media in the past, but that's gone. That's gone at this point. In fact, the media is more likely to fearmonger and make people feel uncomfortable just to get viewers than actually report the news or anything like that. So yeah, no, I'm not a mainstream mass media guy. I really am not. Does not own the media. The right wing has been buying it up, and they own a lot of it. Rupert Murdoch, Jeff Bezos, great examples of this. Great examples of this. Smooth saying, "Yep, Twitter or X, as it's referred to now, is a cesspool of right wing misinformation. The amount of people lapping it up is terrifying." Well, there are actually reports that came out that Russia had been basically given control of Twitter from Elon Musk to just inundate it with their bots and misinformation and really trying to make it seem like popular sentiments are popular. And some people are duped and they're just sheep and they want to go with what seems like the winning team is. Some people are just weak like that. They can't think for themselves and they don't want to stand for truth. And it's so much easier to just be hateful and fall into those categories and fall in with that kind of stuff. Yeah, X is absolutely fucked up. And in fact, there were some things that came out recently just before this election about evidence that Elon Musk is being allowing Russian interference in our election through X, through Twitter. And it probably did have a huge impact on what happened this week. Seriously. Seriously. Yeah, especially among blacks and minorities. Well, there's a lot more racism and violence and misogyny and all kinds of ugly stuff. The worst of humanity is on display on X. And it's funny because Elon came in and said, I want to clean it up from bots. Well, he just put in a whole bunch of his own right wing thinking bots in there to try and shape popularity and opinion. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. He's saying more CNN talking points, can't take it anymore. All right, well, bye, Felicia. You don't have to tell us. You can do what you want to do. You can come in for the basketball stuff early, but we're in overtime. And sometimes we get political in overtime. I don't mind if, whatever. I'm not trying to get as many subscriptions. I'm not here to make everybody like me. And in some ways, that's why you should trust me, is because I don't give a shit if you like what I'm saying. I'm not trying to get your money and I'm not trying to get your subscriptions. So what the fuck? Why wouldn't you trust me? Because I have nothing that I want from you, Sir Sea Cats. There's other people that do. There's other people that do. Carlos saying, this is all I hear from MAGA people, CNN talking points. That's what I'm saying. It's just a cop out kind of thing. In some ways, that's them echoing us saying Fox News talking points. They just want their equivalent of it. Oh, it's like, and the funny thing is, Fox News and CNN are pretty much the same thing at this point. So it's not like that means anything when you say CNN talking points. No, they're exactly the same kind of fear mongering bullshit. In some ways, they will kiss Trump's ass on CNN just if they have to. Like, you just see CNN's going to treat Trump in different ways this whole entire election after this one. Yeah. Well, he's president now. I'll bet you they won't be as critical of him because in some ways he's the dictator now. And this is the funny thing. Everybody's circling around to kiss his ass now that he's won. It's funny because they're scared and they're cowards and they know that he's the kind of punitive person that in his ego, he will do this. So this is exactly the kind of shit that goes on in places like Venezuela, places like Nicaragua, places like Panama. Yeah, we've become a banana republic. And this dude is the latest dictator to enter the fray, like Putin, like Netanyahu, these pieces of shit. Yeah, yeah, there we go. There we go. There we go. Din Loud. Really, Sir Seacats? Really? Really? I mean, really? Trevor's saying after losing the Memphis, JJ Redick put the Lakers locker room on notice and he cut Russell's minutes. Interesting. Yeah, I like that the Lakers have been losing more recently. They started out the gates really well, and things are a little bit different. And one of them is AD. Now, if AD is out and we don't have to see Anthony Davis this weekend when we're in LA on Sunday, that won't be a bad thing. I mean, we may have a real good chance to beat LA, the Lakers, in their home court with Davis out. Yeah, I could see that. Smooth saying, Lex, you can't be seen as intelligent. It will be used against you. You will be deemed an enemy of the state. Well, that's what they've always said, is that, in some ways I'm crazy. I'm a fucking crazy lunatic. That's what I was saying. Sometimes intelligence and honesty isn't the same thing. It would be intelligent for me to shut up and just kind of protect myself and go into a little world and say, yeah, don't speak out against this because you might put a target on yourself for all kinds of stupid shit. But I'm maybe not intelligent in that way. I'm more honest in that way, that I'm like, you know what? I have one life to live and I can't live it in a way where I'm living a lie or not coming out and speaking my mind. I could live in fear and say, yeah, Lex, you need to shut up about politics because now the new era of the dictator is coming and there will be punitive measures for people like you that speak out to him. Well, I live in Canada and hopefully I can be safe. But that's the crazy thing about this, man. You're right. In a crazy, unjust, ridiculous world, the very intelligent people will be seen as crazy, and they'll also be like put targets on because the people that you're getting out the word of the truth, they're going to come after you and want you to be shut up. And that's the thing that's the problem. I'm so small potatoes. I'll be able to hopefully just cruise under the radar as long as possible. Didn't Loud saying Putin values our North. We are directly affected by Trump's betrayal. Yeah, we're affected by cost too, because in some ways he's not friendly to trading with Canada in a way that's like very like good. The NAFTA stuff goes all out the window, and he also is like going to be hardballing and stuff and doing stupid shit. Like some of it will be coming from his ego, and some of it is like Justin's going to have to kiss his ass or whoever's going to be in charge down the road. It's really dumb. It's really, really dumb. In some ways, the best way to manipulate Trump is to appeal to his ego and tell him how great he is. And then he'll do stuff for you because, oh, I like you because you like me. You like me. You think I'm so great. It's so pathetic. It's so pathetic in some ways. Jill saying, Lex, J.D. Vance was an occasional transvestite who dressed up in women's clothes. So did a few other Republicans. Yes, Lex, they're hypocrites. Yeah, I mean, I don't even want to get into all that. I mean, there's been a history of this with J. Edgar Hoover and different people like this in the history. I mean, I don't care about this. In some ways, it's a very likely scenario that J.D. Vance may be in charge because Trump is just deemed not fit to be in office. That if there's anything that's actually appealing about this is that Trump's so old and fucked up in his head and just not totally with it that, maybe JD Vance will be in charge. And I don't know if that'll be any better. It could be way, way worse. But at least, Trump is old and he's going to have to go away at some point just because of the nature of life and death. And that at some point, well, just as much as Biden's getting old and cognitively declining, well, Trump is too. And at some point, he's going to have to go away just because he'll be dead. And thank God that'll happen. Yeah, because that's just how it is. That's just how it is. That's the life. You're going to live. You're going to be a prince or a pauper. You all go to a casket anyway, which way, either one. That's what I'm saying about that. That's right. Blackhawk saying Bruno is allowed to go to the G League as long as he asks for it. Raptors can't assign him unless he's recovering from an injury. Okay, that makes sense. Like for an injury or assignment, they could go there. I was wondering why Tony Snell could be running around in the G League for the Maine Celtics in recent years. So he has to okay it and with his agent and stuff. I don't know if this is going to be happening, guys. It's a waste of time to send him down there. He's much better off just doing what he's doing with the big club and doing what it is. I don't want to overanalyze Bruno. He's not a very important aspect of our team. In some ways, he's just to flesh out Big's depth on our team. Big's depth. Yeah. Randolph saying, Lex, Maxey is out for a couple of weeks with a hamstring injury. Tyrese Maxey? Very interesting. Or you mean Maxi Kleba? You mean Tyrese. So that's no good for Sixers. Jill saying, I think the highest quality team we played so far is Minnesota. We'll beat them next time. Go Raps. It's either them or the Cavs. The Cavs were really impressive in their first game, and they have not lost yet. So I don't know. I think it's the Cavs, Jill. Minnesota's good too. Don't get it twisted. They're good too. So both teams they're about the same in some ways. Although the Cavs being undefeated is phenomenal. That's absolutely a real accomplishment. Carlos saying 100% Lex. They basically voted in J.D. Vance and Peter Thiel. Yeah, that's the thing. Peter Thiel is a very, very rich billionaire that has been grooming J.D. Vance for years. And in some ways, he's put so much money behind him and made him who he is. It's not like J.D. Vance has any political experience hardly. He's been a congressman very short period of time. And you know what? His absentia from voting in votes is absolutely horrible. The guy just doesn't show up and do anything politically. There's nothing he's done or accomplished in the U.S. government in any kind of way. You look at Joe Biden's lifelong career of how much he's done in career in politics. Kamala Harris, another one who's been in all three branches. And meanwhile, J.D. Vance is basically like a very green rookie in American politics, but he's a manipulated puppet for Trump. And also, especially for Thiel. I mean, he paid to have that guy come in there. And yeah, that's what I'm saying. The billionaires like Peter Thiel are controlling our government through like candidates like JD Vance that they groom, and they're absolutely getting all kinds of like deregulations for things they want to do. That's another problem. They're going to deregulate environmental protections and allow big corporations to go crazy with degrading our natural environment. And one of the things Elon's going to do is he's going to be put in charge of auditing the government. So everything he did to Twitter in the last couple of years, as far as cutting people that actually moderate or do any of the infrastructure to help Twitter, he's going to do to our government down there. As far as like cutting out protections for like anything that's safeguarding corporations or businesses from doing really corrupt things that aren't good for everybody else, but they're getting profits off. Whether it's polluting a river or a lake, whether it's mining in an area that was protected before, but they opened it up for business and they're stripping natural forest lands or something like that. There's going to be a lot more of that coming, and in environmental concerns, and also thinking about the green energy and the things with climate change. These guys are not going to be worried about any of that, and they're going to be contributing more and more to the issue that is an existential threat for the whole entire planet. So I mean, this is awful. It's awful in all kinds of ways. You put the fox in the hen house. They make the rules, and well, they allow the change of the game, the rules of monopoly, and these guys just fucking go crazy. And it's so crazy because what's going to happen is they're going to make all this money, but the money won't matter in the end. It will circle right back to what I just said. They all get buried in the ground, just like all of us. And none of this money's going to matter in the end. I mean, if there is a mass extinction of humans on this planet, it will be because of these people. And because they just wanted to make a few extra bucks and be so fucking mega rich. Meanwhile, they didn't think about why the trees and everything that's naturally here protects us in our climate. And they're going to find out. And it'll be sad. It may not happen in our lifetimes, but it probably will happen in our offspring's lifetimes and in the next 100 years. And it's awful. And it'll be like people that are coming in the future will be like, were they smarter? Why did they vote for Trump? That was so stupid, because everything kind of changed from that point. It's just like with Reagan, the wealth inequality started with Reaganomics and trickle down economics scam. And there's going to be scams that are going to be set up in our governments with the Supreme Court, the MAGA court, and Trump that are going to have reverberations through the centuries from now and the decades from now. And it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a big, big problem. I mean, to right the ship of trying to de-escalate the warming of our planet, we're going in the wrong direction with the leadership that just got elected down there. All right. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk. I know it's dire and scary, but at least we have Raptors basketball, and death is going to get everybody in the end. That's just the damn truth. That's just the damn truth. All right, let's go through a recap real quick. The Raptors lost to the Kings last night. They really fell apart in the fourth quarter. Only got 14 points in the fourth quarter. Just really, really had a hard time executing or even holding the Kings down with them scoring 33. We could blame the refs. CJ Washington was a little shit. But overall, we can't blame the refs. We just got to be better and learning as a young team and getting better over time. My 3 stars of the game were Davion Mitchell, Chris Boucher, and RJ Barrett. Let's see. Did Leo do his life tip? Let's see if Leo did his life tip finally at some point during the stream. Maybe not. Nope, he hasn't done one. He's just taking the day off. All right, that's fine. Paul George got booed in the Clippers, and the owner of the Kings wore "You Are Not Like Us" shirt. In these days of like trying to come together, he's being divisive. Happy birthday to Delano Banton. Very, very happy to see our 45 bus get his birthday on the Portland Trailblazers. He's awesome. He is awesome. And let's see. Yeah, we did that. We did that. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me today. I know we're not all going to agree, and I know that I'm very far left with my beliefs, but, I really want people to know this. I'm a free thinker, and I think for myself. If you think that I'm just buying the line of what's sold to me, no, because there's no particular place that I just go to get everything from. And I really do use my education in graduate school and my life experience and everything that I've known and what I've seen, because I remember how it was before and how things have evolved in almost 50 years that I've been on this planet. And I can understand the trends and which way we're going. And once again, it's never, ever, if I've learned anything from Scooby-Doo, it's never, ever the rich guys that are the good guys. And this is why Tom Duke got all pissed at me. He wanted to leave the channel, because I know the exact problem with the world today. It's the ultra, ultra rich compromising our democracy by funneling huge amounts of money into everything with misinformation, the media, candidates to get into certain spots for sweetheart deals. This is why democracy is broken. And this is why there's some ugly shit coming up unless we get better about this. Even say do it the right way, get somewhere and let people know they're not playing fair. And that's why we're in trouble and we're getting railroaded towards this future. Is because how do you beat billionaires that have all the resources in the world? It's just like a court case. If you're going to go to court with somebody and you know that they can pay for lawyers for a longer time than you, well, you just settle and you let it happen because you can't fight that financially. That's what I'm saying right now. That's a big, big part of the problem. All right, Mo, thank you for the go rest. And thank you, Jillian. I'm going to do a 3-hour Lexathon today. I appreciate everybody. I'll be back with the Friday Freakout, and it's going to be about our WNBA team. You guys are going to be excited to hear the news I have to say tomorrow. So, yeah, let's go Raptors. Let's go WNBA, and let's go and just do the right thing. Be a humanitarian. Look out for the weak, the sick, the elderly, the vulnerable. And stop being callous pieces of shit that just want to make as much money as possible with no regard for anybody else, the environment, the nature, the animals, or anybody else. You are fuckers. And your day of reckoning will come no matter what, because you will die just like I will, and all of us will. Yeah, yeah. And what you add to the legacy of the world going after you, well, you're going to add for the people after you for the better? Probably not, because you wanted that so much more than anything else. You sold out your own kind, humanity. There you go. Let's go Raptors. And let's win this weekend against the Los Angeles teams. Let's go Raptors.